podcast in pop culture news and reviews, TV news, TV movie reviews, gaming news, and just all the topics of the day. I'm Price of Reason, and with me, as usual, I have my co host, Professor R2. How's it going, Professor?
Doing well. I think I might have finally worked Section 31 out of my system, but maybe we'll talk about that some more later. But that was a bit of a shock for a few days. I was not sure which way was up. So yeah, maybe we'll get to talk about that here in a bit.
Is somebody saying that we're late?
Well,
We're
like
not
a,
late.
a
But
couple of
by the way, I had a
minutes. What?
not that it's an excuse, but there was a problem with my microphone. And by the way, we were like 60 seconds. I wouldn't say that was late. In any case, I think he was kidding.
Yeah.
In any case, happy to be here. And yeah, it's so strange. Even when a day starts and you don't even know if it's a slow day, if anything will happen, there's just so much going on. It's never boring.
Yeah, and even like you said, like there's those days when you're like, yeah, nothing's gonna happen. This is gonna, we're not gonna
Yeah,
have anything to talk about tonight.
exactly. I wake up thinking, well, we have nothing to talk about, and then there's just a million things. There's so many people doing so many strange things, and it really does give us a lot to talk about.
Hmm.
So, I guess first of all, I guess let's just for our sort of top story, it seems like, Trump is doing a lot of things. it, it
Yes.
it feels like he arrived, and I don't know. I mean, it feels different than last time. It feels like he's really sort of hit the ground running. He just wants a lot of stuff to happen. He wants it to happen at the pace that he wants. And at least sometimes he manages to actually, in some cases, get what he wants, I guess.
Yeah, in quite a few ways, he's getting exactly what he wants from everything everything that he's doing. I mean, it's so funny. I've seen a couple of posts, for a few different people saying, hey, man, I'm really worried about a bunch of you leftists. You're screaming and yelling and crying into your iPhones and everything. And it's only been 7 days. You've got like another 1,200 days or something to get through in this presidency. You really need to pace yourself. Because
Yeah.
Trump's not going to pace himself. It's going to keep coming. You're going to keep seeing stuff, and then of course the usual like people trying to dog on Trump because he was playing golf this weekend. It's like, yeah, it was the weekend, and he put in a really busy week. And do you want to know how much of Biden's term he spent on vacation away from the White House?
I mean, at least Trump's awake. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? The other thing is there's sort of this feeling that he does his golf and, in the meantime he gets updates and does whatever. He's Trump. That's what he does. I
Well,
mean,
and anyone who's done any time working in business can tell you that deals don't always get made in the boardroom. Like if he's out on the golf course with people, they're chatting about stuff.
yeah,
They're making plans. They're making deals. They're talking about what's happening next. That's not just him out relaxing. Like he's out there, coordinating with people and thinking stuff over and talking with other people he's golfing with. So yeah, it's been a wild first week. There's been so much stuff that's happened, and now we're running into the second week here, and there's already tons of stuff just continues to go down in the administration. So yeah.
I mean, and this may be a strange take to have, but I think that him being on a golf course during the weekend, I mean, this whole week I saw him just signing things and working. The fact that he's on a golf course means that he's walking around. He's doing. I wouldn't say it's the craziest physical activity, but keep in mind the guy's in his late 70s. The guy's walking around on a golf course from side to side, doing a bit of golfing. That's not necessarily the worst thing. Do you get what I'm saying? He was
No.
sitting all week working, and I saw him because every second you saw him sitting and signing and sitting and working and doing all that stuff. So fine, whatever. So it's good to sort of know that he's walking around a bit and doing something. I don't think it's
Yeah.
the end of the world,
being
personally.
being active and just enjoying the outdoors, and that's fine. I mean, no, it is not it's not the most vigorous of sports, but it's one that there's a lot of people, especially people in business, tend to enjoy. And like I said, it's not necessarily all fun and games either. There's a lot of business that goes down out there on the on the golf course. So
I don't
yeah.
personally have an issue. I mean, the thing is
No.
that, like I said, I felt that with Biden, we had something that he was resting all the time. I mean, let's be honest. This isn't, and again, I've said it before. This has nothing to do even with political parties. I feel like from the second that Biden ran, even in 2020, I felt that the guy didn't seem on top of his game. It doesn't mean that everybody that age is not at top of their game. It's just he didn't seem like he was on top of his game.
Hmm.
You know, I've
Absolutely.
known people that were, in their 80s or whatever it is, and they weren't so focused on what was going on around them, or they weren't that sharp. And I've met people in their 90s that were completely laser focused and knew everything that was going on and were walking around and doing stuff. So I've seen different scenarios play out. Unfortunately, when you get to those kind of older ages, you don't know 100% how it's going to turn out. For some people, it turns out one way. For others, it turns out another way. I mean, obviously, it's always better when it turns out the better way. I think
Yeah.
in his case, they were so desperate to just send him into the battlefield as the candidate. I would argue that even when he ran in 2020, I I I, I didn't feel like he was 100%. Even then,
Oh no, not at all. Not at all. There were already accusations that everyone was making. So yeah, no,
and it's funny
yeah.
because I told you that I consider myself, especially at that time and just in general, I don't really align myself with political parties. I'm kind of an
Hmm.
independent or whatever you want to call it. I always say I'm kind of like a middle of the road guy. But I have friends from different, that support different sides of the political spectrum. And at the time when I saw him, when I told people that I guess were more left leaning, I told them, hey, this guy looks kind of old. People would get very offended, like, saying like, "Oh, you're terrible, like you're such an
You're an
ageist."
ageist.
Yeah, that's what they said,
Yeah.
"You're so terrible for saying that." And really my instincts were 100%. Like every single thing that I said was a concern was 100%. And funny that all those same people were then saying the same things about him when they wanted him to drop out and they wanted Kamala to replace him for some reason. They were all the same things I said.
Yeah.
Only when they said it was okay, when I said it wasn't, because I guess I didn't say it at the right time.
Yeah. He was the perfect candidate and he was totally competent until the moment they decided he wasn't.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. So exactly. That's why it's like the ultimate hypocrisy. So when I think about him and how he seemed kind of out of it, whether he was awake or asleep, people were asking him questions and he couldn't even give straight answers. Uh, some people will say, well, maybe he knew what was going on just because of his age. He wasn't so good at getting the answers out. But I don't think that's the case. He really didn't seem like he was on top of his game. And I think a lot of stuff happened in the world. I mean, I hate to say it, but I think part of the reason why bad stuff happened, a lot of it during his uh, presidency, is that I think that a lot of other countries looked and said, "Hey, this is a great opportunity." It's
Hmm.
like it's like if you're playing soccer or football, whoever's watching abroad, but it's like there's no goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like it's like it feels like a good time for an attack because there's nobody there. Like nobody even. It's just all this chaos and mayhem was happening. Whether it's outside the US or all these, immigrants coming in and nobody's stopping them at the border, there was a lot of chaos. And I think a lot of it has to do with a guy that sort of doesn't look like he's really in charge.
No, not at all. And honestly, I think that there were more than a few people in the Democratic Party, in the power structure of that administration, who were quite happy for him to be a little checked out. They could implement whatever they wanted. They didn't have to have his approval. They didn't have to, do anything. They could do whatever they wanted, and they would just put it in front of him, tell him it was something, and he'd sign it, right?
Right.
And it was it's disturbing, frankly. It really is. And I'm glad that we've now moved past that. I'm glad that we're now in an era where we have a president who's clearly in charge of his faculties. People can argue that he's a sociopath or whatever. They can argue all of this stuff. he can sit in front of some press and have an unscripted conversation for hours. He knows exactly what it is that he's signing, and some of the implications that it has. He has his a very clear agenda for what he wants to do with his time in the presidency this time around, and uh, he's moving forward with it. And we've seen just repeatedly now how his campaign and he himself made promise after promise. We're going to, when we get back in the White House, we're going to do this. When we get back in the White House, we're going to do that. And it is just day after day. They are writing those checks. They're making it happen. And that has got people in Washington, D.C. worried.
Yeah, I'm
They're on notice now that
he
there's somebody who's keeping their promises,
I mean,
right?
I think that the thing is that he has come back this time with a different mentality. I think that first of all, there's no third term. This is his term, so
Yep.
there's nothing. Usually, when you're in the first term, you're thinking, "How do I get reelected?" That's still in the back of your mind. He doesn't have to worry about it anymore because he's already elected, and that's it. At the same time, I think he's been through so many things and through the ringer with all these mainstream media outlets, and the landscape has changed so much in recent years that now just they come and they say all this stuff to him, and he just puts them in their place. And another thing, I just feel like the people themselves aren't making as big of a deal as they were in the past. Maybe because he has a majority, because maybe a lot of people voted for him. But in the past, every single thing, everybody would like between the mainstream media and like people were complaining a lot and protesting, doing all this stuff. I almost don't hear anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that
Just
there were
just
some people
just
with
a lot of
Mexican.
crying on TikTok.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there were people with Mexican flags or whatever it is in the middle of the street, but I even that it doesn't. It feels like at this point, people are just like, ah, just he'll do whatever he does, and yeah, I I feel like I don't know what happened last time. Maybe they were thinking, well, if we do this, he won't get another 4 years, but that's already that ship has sailed, and the final thing I'll tell you is, and this is really interesting, I don't know why I always remember this, is that when I even said to people, "Hey, there was this laptop thing with Biden, whatever," and then they'd say, What does it have anything to do with him? It's his son. He's not. His son isn't running for president." And I would say that there's two scenarios. Either he knew about what's going on, with his son and whatever, and then that's a bad thing because if you understand,
Mhm.
and or if he doesn't know what's going on and that's like all the people around him are using his name to get money from different places, I said like that's even more like concerning. Do you get what I was trying to say? That
No,
like if
yeah,
if he
absolutely.
doesn't know, if the idea is that he didn't know anything what his son and all these other people are doing, what does he know? So if that's the deal, that he doesn't know anything, that his own son, like under his own nose, is doing all this stuff and he has no idea, what does that say about him? And that's what I was telling those people, and they're just like, no, no, and like I'd hear just the weirdest excuses. And yeah, I mean, to tell you, it's not that I sat around like, I don't love politicians. I don't dream about them all day or think about them. But if you ask me if I prefer to have a guy that actually looks like he's sitting there and doing something, can answer questions and knows what's going on around him versus a guy that doesn't, I suppose the guy that sort of can answer the questions and knows what's going on just by default a better option.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really a default situation here because like I said, it felt like that's the best way I could describe it, like a goal with no goalkeeper. And you don't want
Absolutely.
that. I mean, the United States can't afford to have, nobody nobody at that post.
No, of course, yeah, and if we were to have some sort of a national emergency or something, what happens if when you've got when you would have someone like Biden who was just clearly just checked out? What would happen? What was gonna happen if something really fell apart and we needed, someone at the top who was in control of their faculties to be able to make tough decisions and do things quickly. Well, it would have been aides in the White House. It would have been,
Right.
other people that would have been making those decisions because he would have been asleep or just wouldn't know what was going on around him. It's terrifying to think that we were in that position for as long as we were. I mean, many of us were convinced that was the case for a very long time,
Right.
that in fact he was checked out. He was not competent to actually be in that role.
And
But
let's be honest, we saw in this campaign that it's not like his number 2 was very promising there.
oh
It looked
Lord,
like
no.
she, until today, I remember that she was the border czar. I mean, if she that in and of itself was a strange thing that she was supposed to be in charge of, and then when the campaign came, she kept saying, "Well, when I get elected, I'm gonna be tough on that border." It's like, you were supposed to be tough on that border until now. Not you, like, as a metaphor, you personally.
Yeah, all along. Like
Right, oh, it
you,
was you, right?
like
Kamala all along. Isn't there that show, to Agatha All Along?
oh good
Um,
Lord. That's not getting a season 2, thank God.
the thing is, I never even thought it was getting one. It's
Oh,
like I
no,
saw
it never should have, but
when
now
I
we know
saw
for
the
sure.
announcement, it's like I looked at it and I'm like, I was surprised that they didn't already announce that there wouldn't be a second season. Like,
Yeah,
did anybody really think that that show would get a second season? It's laughable. It's laughable if somebody thought that that show was getting another season. That show was awful. It was
yeah,
just awful. It had no viewers. There was no chance that that show was going to get another season. I guess the only thing here is that Disney have a new policy. Rather than not saying anything, they say that they don't get a second season. I almost feel like the reason they do it is because in that and in the Acolyte, there was a lot of these kind of LG type of characters, and you know, rather than having this thing hang, kind of like pulling off a band-aid. Is that pulling off a band-aid? What I'm looking, I don't know. What word I'm looking for? Is it pulling
yeah.
off a band-aid?
Well, I'm not sure if that, yeah, pulling off Band-Aids, it just yeah, rip it, getting it over with as quickly as
Yeah,
possible
that's what I mean.
would
I
be
mean,
yeah,
instead of them like doing, oh, renew it for 5 years, like at least they announced it and like
yeah,
there'll be sometimes when there's these kind of LG type of 5 LG people that like to watch it, then they'll do a stink about it online. But I feel like this is Disney's way of getting it over, getting it over with more quickly, sooner rather than later, if you
yeah,
know what I mean.
yeah, oh, yeah, no, there's these uh, some of these shows have just failed so spectacularly that, there's to even consider additional seasons of them would be just fiscally irresponsible. To people in the board would be like, "Wait, why are you giving this another season? This cost us how much, and we got how many viewers out of it?" I mean, famously now we have a lot of the numbers finally from the Acolyte, right, where it basically got a third of the audience of Book of Boba Fett, like a third of the watch minutes. Like it did pathetic numbers. Absolutely pathetic numbers. People were screaming for a second season, but it did horribly, and it was a bad show that got reviewed just torn to pieces by reviewers, and people were begging for the second season, and then we find out that it probably cost nearly $400,000 to finish the production of that show.
400
Is it
million.
400, sorry, 400,000,000. Yeah, almost 7,
400,000 is like
like
they dream at night, like they
seven
dream.
$700,000 a minute they spent on that show.
It's
It's
unbelievable. It's
it's madness.
unbelievable how many movies could have been made with that kind of money,
Yeah,
you
and,
know?
you also, I mean, you have plenty of these Marvel shows that have been huge failures. I mean, Echo was an absolute disaster. There was nothing about that was good. It was punishingly bad.
Echo was
Just
so bad that I did a review on it, and it's one of the record holders for the least viewed
yeah,
review.
no one
It's like
cared to see a
nobody
review
cared.
of it. They all
They
knew it sucked.
they didn't even feel like watching me sort of poke fun at it. It's like one of my worst performing videos, like, of all
Yeah.
time. That, by the way, and Skeleton Crew episode 3. those are like amongst my worst performing videos.
Yeah, no one cares about these Marvel shows anymore, and Agatha All Along is definitely one that never needed to
No,
get a
no,
second
I don't
season.
even think I did like a video review of that, although I was busy at the time. I was
Yeah,
busy also during the Acolyte, and I did reviews with you here,
yeah,
on the Night Owl, but I didn't do more proper reviews. Uh, but we all had a good, good chuckle at the
mhm,
expense of those shows. But
yeah.
Agatha all along, there was just no point. I could tell it really was a situation as bizarre as it sounds. Only YouTubers, only people that make videos or review stuff were watching those shows. That's how pathetic it is.
So, yeah, I have the watch minutes here for, Agatha All Along, up through the end of, 2024. Acolyte picked up 2.6 billion watch minutes. Agatha All Along picked up only 2.2.
Yeah, I
So
mean, it doesn't surprise me. And the funny thing is, did you see this week that they were trying to spin it as a success?
oh, no, yeah, that's where I'm looking at some of this stuff. They're trying to say, "Oh, look, it was the second most popular thing on, Disney Plus in the past year, with Percy Jackson and the Olympians being the biggest with, 3.01, billion watch minutes or something." And if you break it all down and you start to look at watch minutes from other shows and other things, you get shows like, Cobra Kai on Netflix. Their numbers are like 10, 12x these numbers.
I believe it.
Like these numbers are pathetic.
Disney Plus is not doing well. I think maybe Bluey or something gives them the numbers. These things aren't giving them the numbers. These are just pathetic things. They've spent so much money on them for no apparent reason. It didn't help them at all. And
Yeah.
the only reason why I think these articles come out at around these times is that I don't know if it's in March or something like that. There's some kind of investors meeting. Disney always want to go and like try to create a spin that there's success even when there isn't one, so they can walk into the boardroom and say some crap. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh, yeah.
they want to kind of spin it. Well, it was amongst our most successful shows. The fact that none of your shows are successful, that's another thing, but at least they can try to pretend to say something positive. But back to, I don't
Yeah.
know how we got to the Acolyte, but I wanted to get
We're bobbing and weaving. It's all right. It's
no,
fine.
because there
We're
was so much stuff that Trump was doing that I think
so
is worth
much.
mentioning.
Yeah.
For starters, today I saw that he really did the thing. These are genders. He doesn't want, multiple genders, and he applied that to the military. This is really, however you feel or don't feel about this topic, these are really decisive, badass moves. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
not playing around. Like he said he would do this, and sat there and he did it. I'm sure that there's going to be lawsuits and a lot of other weird things are going to happen, but at least from his perspective, he is doing what he said he wanted to do.
Mhm.
What do you think will
Abs
happen with these lawsuits?
Well, I mean, with lawsuits, you can never tell. Some of them probably do have, some real merits. I would say, some of the lawsuits that are gonna really that are really going to be challenging are going to be things like his ability to reclassify uh, people so that it essentially eliminates birthright citizenship. That is going to be a very very challenging thing. Although I think as far as what could be done with an executive order, it is written and phrased, and everything that is done in there is very it's airtight as far as they've written it, right? The It's really just going to come down to, can the executive branch, are they allowed to redefine what those words mean in the Constitution, or do we have to have something from somewhere else, right? Do we have to have a constitutional amendment to change it? Do we have to have the legislature make the recommendation to change how that's perceived? That could be a really challenging one. There's some others that are obviously going to have some significant challenges. Uh, there's others though that I don't think there's really going to be much of a challenge at all. uh, there's already some people talking about trying to trying to change the mandate that he put forward that all federal employees need to return to in-person work. And I don't think anyone's going to have a leg to stand on that one. He's the president. He is the head of the executive branch of the government. He oversees all the many of these departments and different areas, and he's responsible for determining how the policies for their work and everything. And honestly, if you read it, what actually got sent out to the employees, I think it's fairly straightforward and it's honestly pretty fair. Had you seen anything about that, Price?
Are you talking about the thing that they have a chance to get severance and not come back
Yeah,
or something?
yeah,
Yeah, I saw
exactly.
something
So
like that. Yeah.
yeah, so basically they've told federal employees you're going to return to there's basically four main things. You're going to return to the office. There's, it says a substantial majority of federal employees have been working remote since COVID, right? And so we want people back in their physical offices 5 days a week. Physical offices are going to, undergo, different consolidations, and so we're probably going to get rid of some buildings, right? We're going to change office locations and stuff. We're going to do what we need to do so that we can utilize that space, and be responsible with the money that we're spending on it. But saying, yeah, you're going to come back to work. We're going to have a performance based culture. So we're not taking just anybody. We're going to judge people on how they perform, how well they do in their jobs. We're going to focus on excellence for federal employees. That's pissed a few people off right there, because that means they're not going to focus on what your skin color is, or where you're from, or what particular gender you might identify as, even though now the federal government only recognizes two. They're not going to focus on your sexuality or anything like that. It is
Well, that was
performance
pretty
and excellence.
badass. That was pretty badass, the thing with the military. I mean,
Yes, yeah.
won't he get lawsuits there, though? They're the people that he just basically removed from there, won't they sue or do something?
It's quite possible. I think that's another one where we will have to wait and see what somebody might try to do. We have a few different orders that have had to do with the military, as far as prioritizing excellence, eliminating DEI. They've been reinstating different service members that were discharged because they refused vaccinations during the COVID emergency. Oh my goodness. Big Ship is at it again, Price. The Big Ship is at it again. He has gifted 20 Price of Reason live memberships on YouTube.
Wow,
My
big ship.
goodness.
Very, very nice of you, big ship. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. It's
Yeah.
really nice, and he did something very nice just, the other day. Maybe it was last week. I think he gave a few really very generous super chats.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, the Big Ship. We really do appreciate
It's
it.
funny because I feel like the big ship is often rather quiet, but still so generous.
Yeah. Yeah.
And by the way, speaking of generous, I also see the dead man here,
Yes.
and he said, "Price Section 31 is so bad that I owe Discovery an apology." Unfortunately, as awful as that sounds, it's probably true.
Ugh.
Discovery it's awful, and somehow Section 31 is more awful than Discovery, even though they're both very awful. But Big Ship, I can see now that a lot of people are getting gifted memberships. I see that CC Karaoke got one. CC Karaoke is a good friend of mine,
Mhm.
and that 70s rock fan. I'm sure they're going to be really, really happy. And thank you, man. It's just so nice. Let's see. He says you two are unfreaking hittable, Gemma and Eraser. Oh, I see what happens. He's trying to get them. Maybe.
Yep. Yep. Well, you know what can happen? I can't speak for Jamma or Eraserhead, but I can tell you that if you have a branded account, you cannot gift somebody a membership. So if they're using a branded account, they can't accept a gifted membership. It's kind of
Ah,
weird, but yeah.
I'm
And
not even sure what that all means, but
I knew that. I know that because I use a branded account. So
I don't really even know what
or
that means.
brand account. So you can create multiple accounts on YouTube. You can create an account that's essentially it still belongs to you, but it represents a brand. So like if you were going to run your own account and then you had a business sort of that you wanted to run on the side, you could create an account that belongs to your business and then you still own it, but it's a separate account. And if it's a brand account, it's if it's not your main account, if it's sort of the
I
sub
think I
like
know what you
brand
mean.
account, then it can't accept gift subs. You can still sub yourself, but your account
I see what you mean. It's
can't
like
accept brand. Yeah.
you're it's as if your name in real life is like John Smith, and then you have a different account that's Professor R2,
Yeah.
and then
How did you know my
because
name?
because you're not because you're not John Smith, it won't give it
No,
to you.
no.
But it's really, really nice, and I also see Rhonda Nefero said, "Good evening," stopping in to say hi. I've got a few minutes. Hey, hey, Ron. Ron's a good friend. Actually, everybody here. There's so many good people I see here.
Amazing people here. Yep.
Yeah, it's so, and that's really. First of all, we always appreciate anything like the dead man is really cool, very, very generous with his super chats, and Big Ship also comes in, just kind of uh, surprises everybody with something really big like that. And we do this because we first and foremost we enjoy doing it, and we enjoy hanging out with all of you, and that's the primary reason we do it. But of course, if there's people that enjoy what we do, and they show that kind of support, we appreciate that as well.
Yep. Yeah, we really do appreciate that. And we also appreciate everybody who is tuning in over on Rumble. We've got quite a few viewers over there right now, being recommended over there. So thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out in there. Thanks for those of you who are chatting with us and telling us your thoughts there. We really do appreciate it. And if you don't mind, if you're watching without an account, watching on your device somewhere without an account, uh, we understand, and that's great. We appreciate your being here. If you got an account or you want to sign up for one, and then you can come on and you can give us a thumbs up, and you can follow the channel so that you get notified whenever we go live. So that would be greatly appreciated.
Absolutely. Rumble is actually, when it comes to these kind of video platforms, there isn't one that's more supportive of free speech than Rumble. That's why it's always great to support them. And if you don't have an account, because some people just use the app and they don't actually
Yeah.
sign up, it's totally worth it to sign up. There's a tier that you sign up and you pay, but you could also sign up and not pay. And whatever the case is, just having an account is good, and it's a good way to support freedom of speech, and that's what we're about. So yeah, and that's kind of our home base for the night owl, because we know that when we're doing our show here, we could just talk about the things we talk about. Since it's simulcast to a few different places, we sometimes were a little more careful, but we know. I mean, there was once a situation that I was sitting and talking about something, quote unquote sensitive, and by the time I was done with the stream, Rumble, which was the main, like I said, it's a Rumble driven show, that was going on, but there was another platform that I won't name that the stream vanished. Do you
Mm,
get what I'm saying?
yes.
Meaning something that I said on the stream triggered something that made it go away. And I feel like it's so important that Rumble gives that opportunity to just, talk about stuff. We try our best. It's not that I want other platforms to not not like what we're saying or whatever it is, but at least it's good as sort of as our home base for the show. It's good to know that we can just talk about stuff here,
Yeah.
which is great.
And we always get some great contributions from our viewers over on Rumble as well. So, yeah, it's nice to have you. And we have a couple more, gifts over in our YouTube chat. Jamalama became a member of
Ooh, Jamalama.
of the live channel there, and six is in the chat, and for $1.49 sent us a banana peel.
Thank you,
That's,
6.
it's
Oh, so
it's
I
better
was
than a poop.
no, because today I
Yeah.
think I was saying, like, 6 never sends me a banana because I was
No.
somewhere else. She always
Mm.
sends me poop, but, I guess now she means business. Thank you, 6. She sent me a message this week. I guess it was the name of a song that she wanted me to sing, and I think it was like the "Slave of Love" or something. So I didn't even know, she didn't even say, she just sent, like, a text that says "Slave of Love." So I think I just answered, I'm like, I'm not really into that kind of thing." She's like, "It's a song by Roxy Music." Uh, I guess she
Nice.
wants me to sing it sometime. I don't even know that song, really. How does it even go? I don't think I've ever
Oh,
heard it.
I don't think I know that one. And again, I'm not exactly a music aficionado. I don't know a lot of more popular music.
I usually am a music
Yeah.
aficionado, but, yeah, I have to go listen to it. Roxy Music, what
Uh, oh, Six says it's a banana peel, so it's essentially her garbage.
oh,
So enjoy that.
okay, well, that's not that good. I'm trying to think what's the big song from Roxy Music? What's, like, the
Oh gosh,
thing
I
that
wouldn't even
everybody
know.
knows? What are their big songs?
Um, Goodness.
Of Roxy Music. It sounds like somebody that I would have to know at least some song.
Um,
80s. Uh, yeah, I don't really
see
know.
list of I see a list of albums. I try and find like a list of like number ones or stuff like that, but I'm not seeing anything. Yep. I don't know.
You know what? I'll try to listen a bit, but I feel like I somehow don't know any of these songs. It's weird.
Yeah.
I would have to know something, but yeah.
Oh my goodness, guys, over on YouTube. So generous tonight. Jamalama, not only uh joining as a member, but gifting 5 Price of Reason live memberships to the chat tonight. So very, very generous.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Jamalama. It's real. Again, sort of overwhelmed by this generosity. I almost like we're I,
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. I'm not used to it, but it's
Yeah.
not like we kind of do our show, and really it's nice. We can only hope that people enjoy it. We do take it very seriously. We're here every Tuesday and Thursday, and it's really important for us to do it every time. And not
Yeah.
just me, Professor shows up every time,
Yeah.
and it's
It's here as often as I can be. So yeah. Um, the only thing I can remember, I can't remember any songs by Roxy Music. The only thing I remember is that somewhere in the back of my head, I remember that that was the band that Brian Eno was part of
uh
before he went out on his own. And I know Brian Eno because he makes like the weirdest freaking
weird.
music
Yeah,
I've ever heard.
he also produced some of U2's stuff, I think.
Did he? Yeah, I don't know. I remember hearing one of his albums once and going, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah, he's a weirdo. But, I mean, he's a weirdo with talent, but it's not
Oh,
for
sure,
everybody.
certainly. Yeah,
It
it was very synth heavy with lots of
totally,
interesting instrumentation, and it wasn't like it wasn't just like some. You hear some of these bands they do like conceptual stuff where it's like you have no idea what's going on. It's just like a cacophony of stuff. But I mean, it was organized. It sounded like music, but it was just so weird.
totally.
Yeah, I remember that because at one point I heard one of his albums and went, "What?"
I mean, he's considered brilliant, but yeah,
He
I mean,
is. I'm
it's
certain
not
that
for everybody. It's certainly
yeah,
not for everybody.
yeah, I'm certain that he's very popular in the right groups, but
Yeah,
oh,
it's got kind of
yeah,
like artsy fartsy, but, I remember that he worked with U2. I'm just
okay,
trying to figure out,
yeah.
uh, which albums. I'm not on top of my game.
Music for airports. That might be the one that I heard, Marokstro. I think that might be it. Music for airports. It sounds familiar.
Uh, okay, Joshua Tree. Yeah, that's what I thought. Joshua Tree was, what's his face? Daniel Lanois and Brian Eno.
Mhm,
Achtung Baby was also Daniel Lanois and Brian Eno. Basically, I think that, those are the early days that those earlier albums were
mhm,
actually amongst the better U2 albums. I mean, U2, today when I think about them, there's a lot of, sorry, I really don't want to be mean. There's a lot of crap that they've released. I feel like, there was a stretch of time of like 5, 6, 7 years that they actually did pretty decent music, and he was one of the producers. It was him and Danielle Lanois. The Joshua Tree, that was a good album. Achtung Baby is a good album. Those are probably their best albums. So the fact that he was involved
Oh,
in it does show, something.
all right, Price.
What happened?
The big ship has gifted 50
Oh
more
man, oh man,
memberships to the channel.
the big ship
Big
is a
ship.
mystery. Is a mystery to me. I feel like the big ship doesn't say a lot. I mean, yeah, it says something, but it's like suddenly the big ship arrives and just is like just
Just
gives a
just
bunch of presents and
pelting the
runs away.
chat with memberships left
Right,
and right.
right. He gives a bunch of memberships and vanishes into the night.
Yes, we are absolutely stunned. The big ship. We really do appreciate it. That's extremely kind. Thank you.
It's so nice of you, man. That's like that's probably the biggest gift we've gotten like in one gift. That may be like the biggest gift. It's very serious.
That's wild. Especially since I think we've only got 40 some people in the chat.
Right. Although I have to say, like, the dead man he has like the opposite strategy. The dead man shows up many times and gives kind of like, increment, another increment, does those
Yeah, a
kind of
little bit
things.
here, a little bit there.
Right.
Yeah,
He's very generous, the dead man, but he kind of like spreads it out. Whereas the big ship, like he comes in like all of a sudden, drops something and then disappears. That's the best way I can describe it. But in both cases, and we're very grateful, and we're grateful for anybody, whether it's Six or Jamalam or anybody. Like I said, we love doing this, and we enjoy hanging out with everybody every time we do this. And
absolutely.
we're just
Yeah.
that's first of all the highest priority for us. But if you also enjoy it, and we get that kind of feedback from you, then it makes me even happier.
Yeah.
And I guess so. How did we get to talk? Yeah, so you two
Just
they
all
had
over the
crappy
place. Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, you two they had most of their music, not most of it. I'd say that after like 1991, most of their music is crap. Maybe like 1992, 3, there were a few songs still, but the end of U2 was when they released the song "Beautiful Day." That may have been that
Yeah.
they may as well have called that song "This is the end of our career."
Hmm.
Now, not making money, I'm sure they made a ton of money since they released that stupid "Beautiful Day" song. Not only that, I think it got like 70 awards and they got all like the prestige whatever, and probably went on tour and made like more money than they ever made. But when it comes to quality music, "Beautiful Day," it's like, how Aerosmith suddenly had some stupid ballad? It's like and then they had Crazy or whatever it is, one of those stupid ballads, the Aerosmith one, that Armageddon or whatever. Once they had their stupid ballad, all of their songs sounded like the same stupid ballad. Aerosmith, uh,
Yeah.
Elton John, as much as he's a talent, also guilty of that. Brian Adams, I don't know if he's talented, but also guilty of that. There's so many cases where they just release some stupid ballad and they're like, okay, we'll continue to release this all the time. It's making money and people are buying it. And I think that with U2, after like during those 90s, late 80s, they were still trying different ideas, kind of experimenting, and they're still the pop rock. It's not like that they're the biggest best musicians or whatever it is, but they had their own style and they had something going. And then I think with "Beautiful Day," they just like went for the most generic kind of poppy sound, the most generic they've ever been. It sold a bunch of records and they're like, okay, every song from now on is "Beautiful Day."
Pretty much. Yeah. I really enjoyed early U2. I had a friend who was a huge fan of U2 in those early years. Joshua Tree, years, Octung Baby, and yeah, I really enjoyed some of the early albums. But yes, later on, it was just felt like it was all just the same sort of repetitive junk. So yeah,
Joshua Tree, um, Joshua Tree. I think you had that. You had Achtung Baby. Those are the in my opinion, their best albums.
hmm
Joshua Tree and Achtung Baby. Achtung Baby. They really tried like this kind of more. Grunge was kind of on the rise. They didn't quite go for grunge, but it was almost like a European version with a little more distortion, a little experimental. Maybe Brian Eno brought some experimental sounds to there. It really felt like they were trying to do something different on that album. And until today, I consider that maybe Achtung Baby could be like their best album, that and Joshua Tree. And I don't know, but I can't blame them though. You know what I mean? You don't stay in your 20s or early 30s forever. At some point, you just say, okay, well, this is a business now, and that's what it is. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like at this point, if they release an album, probably 5 minutes later, they don't even remember what songs are on the new album.
Mhm.
Kind of like Rolling Stones. Hey, Tex Rogers. Tex Rogers is also a good friend of the channel. I tried sharing his. Oh, here it is. So yeah, hey Tex. So basically, I guess what I'm saying is that I don't blame them. The Rolling Stones, if somebody goes to see a concert of the Rolling Stones today, they're not going to see their new album. Nobody knows what they released this album, not the previous album, not the previous 10 albums, maybe not the previous 20 albums. There's like a handful of hits that people want to listen to. Probably most of them for like from like the 60s, 70s, and if you're lucky, maybe like a few from the 80s. That's what people want to listen to. They couldn't care less about what they have now. And it's a business. So it's fine. I'm not, I'm not a hater. It's just, as a businessman, I respect what they're doing. As somebody that likes music, what am I going to do? But it is what it is.
Yep.
Now, back to what we were saying with Trump. So, can he actually go to the military and say that he doesn't want to see any Transformers anymore? Is that something that he could just sign and nobody says anything?
Again, I think that's definitely something that's gonna be litigated. There's gonna be some challenges to that. He has pretty broad powers to be able to say that type of thing, but I think that we're gonna see some pretty significant fights in that area. Another one, if you saw the other executive order came in rather late today, was about children. Did you see
Yeah,
that
the
one?
children can't give them you can't do the operations and you can't do all that stuff. No more child transformers.
Yeah, yeah, that was a very very interesting, very again, I think they've got some really strong legal authors working for the administration. There's been some very impressive memoranda, there's some very impressive executive orders that have been coming out that don't leave room for any kind of misunderstanding, right?
Right.
We were actually briefly mentioned on Mr. Brown's channel. We were there together on Sunday. Briefly, there was some talk about the two genders rule, thing that came out from in that executive order. And I was mentioning then how it is written in a way that's very specific. It might seem a little weird, but it's written in legalese. It's written in a way that is intended to leave you no room to argue with it, to try and dispute it. It's like, no, this is this, this is this. We're going to define this. We're going to define that. We're going to define this way, and we're going to define this that way. And in the end, what you end up with is something that when you go to read it, and when they think about implementing that in policy, it is rock solid. And this executive order today about protecting children is very tightly written. Does not leave room for a lot of uh, potential, ways that you could misunderstand what's meant here.
I feel like there
Um,
has to be some meltdowns
Oh,
incoming.
I'm absolutely certain there's some meltdowns coming. We're gonna see a lot of those. This did land pretty late today. I think we're gonna see a lot more tomorrow as it starts to make more news. Starts to make it more around things like TikTok.
Speaking
Uh,
of meltdowns, I
yeah.
wonder what happened to the lady that's like the meltdown lady. You know what I mean? The one with the green vest, with that neon vest.
Hmm.
Whatever happened to her? Does anybody even know who she is? She's like the most memed meltdown person ever. I don't think anybody ever found out who she is, right?
No, no. I've seen plenty of attempts to sort of recreate some of these
Right,
meltdowns,
I've seen
and
it.
those are great, but no, I don't think they've ever identified that one particular
Oh, man, I
person.
wish they identified her. I wanna know more about that person. But you know what was funny? This is actually when we were covering the election before the election, when I saw that there was some kind of, like, one of those Trump rallies or whatever, and there were, like, people dressed up as that lady, I don't know why, I felt like I you'll call me crazy, that was actually one of the moments that I thought that maybe he could win it. I don't know why, because I saw these people walking around, and it was a very kind of diverse group of people. I think it was like a Latina woman wearing the vest, and there were all these people around her, like completely like a diverse group, and they're all like laughing with her, and she's doing impressions, and everybody's like chuckling and laughing and like high fiving. And I saw it, and I said to myself, "There's a certain level of like joy and humor here, like totally you don't see that on the other side." You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, it's
I don't know why that was a moment that I saw, like, that they were doing imitations of her, and they're all kind of hanging out, and it's like, I don't know. I don't know why that was a turning point for me, but I really did. By the way, Jamalama says South Park Bono. If you've never seen the episode of South Park with Bono, it is a treat. Professor, have you ever
yeah,
seen it?
I'm certain I have. I think I've seen just about every episode of that show. It's probably just been quite some time since I saw it.
What happens is that basically, there's a competition of who, has taken the biggest poop in the world.
Yes, okay,
And
yes.
then Bono cheats because he wants to, like, have the biggest one, and at the end, like, the quote unquote twist in the episode is, it's not that he's taken the biggest poop, it's that
He
he is the
is
biggest
the
poop.
biggest poop. Yes, yeah,
And
I do.
man,
Yeah.
you know, I have a feeling that I have no way of proving this. I have a feeling that the guys that do South Park must have run into him at a party or something like that, because I told you that once I ran into him, again, I'm not important, you know what I mean? It's not like he needed to be nice to me or something like that, but man, was this guy a douche. I mean, I told you he wouldn't shake my hand or something. I remember telling you this story, right?
Yeah, I remember a bit of it, yeah.
So in any case, what I'm saying is that and then somebody else had met him that was, like, in a play, that play on Broadway that had all the issues. Somebody tried to shake his hand, and he wouldn't shake the person's hand and things like that. This guy has a lot of weird things, this Bono guy. Uh, I don't know why he is the way he is. I imagine to myself, if those 2 guys from South Park went to a party and, like, said hi to Bono, and he, like, walked around and refused to shake their hand, I think he automatically gets, like, an episode.
Eraserhead says, "Somehow Price explaining a South Park episode is the highlight of my night."
Well, it's true. I described it pretty much as it was. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Yeah, once you started talking about it, I was like, "Oh, yes, I totally remember that episode."
There was one part that I really another part that was really funny. He flies, like, to Africa, and, they're all, like, starving, so, like, he sings to them or something as they, like, starve to death and then leaves. I don't remember the exact scenario, but, like, I remember that it's, like, absurd, you know what I mean? Like, he
Yes.
comes in with, like, the big savior of Africa. I don't know why.
Yeah,
They completely clobbered him, and I bet you that everything they did there was probably, like, well researched.
I'm
But, yeah,
certain it was, yes.
I see, Istophobos is here. Hey, Istophobos. And Rob Skubla. Yes, it's Trey Parker and Matt Stone. Marla Shernoff. I miss Mary Kay. Wow, so many great people.
Yeah.
I love the gathering here, Stephen Mack. In any case, so back to what Trump was doing. He did the children thing, no transformers in the military. Federal workers, they may have to work out some severance. He wants them back on the job. So many things. There's also, what was that thing where he said that he now is giving California water? Did he really go and change something in California, or it was just
Oh, gosh, no, I didn't see anything about that.
he's like, "Hey, California, like, I sent the military over to open, like, the faucet. Now you have water. Screw you. Bye." And, like, people were like, I don't know, people
Oh,
start
yeah, he said he said that he sent troops over there to, like, open some pipes or something, change the flow of the water. Yeah. No, I have no idea
do you think
exact
it actually happened? I don't even know.
I have no idea. I see a story from the LA Times saying that California says the California officials say it's not true, but that means it probably is.
It probably is. Marla Sharendorf says Mary Kay was the official voice of Snow White for 10 years. I did not know that. People are
Hmm.
talking about some lady on Blue Sky. I don't even know what this is. Price of Reason, Green Jacket Lady is named Jess. She has a Blue Sky account at Green Jacket Lady. Oh, the Green Jacket Lady, that's her name? There's a real that is her name? Wow. Thanks, Sistophobos. I didn't know that. But you see, even she embraces it. Even she's the Green Jacket Lady. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Now I've gotta go look.
Wha I kind of am curious myself. Green Jacket Lady at Blue Sky. Jacket Lady, Blue Sky.
Oh, it's making me
Okay, I
sign
think
in.
I got it. Green Jacket Lady. Is that her though? I feel like I guess, I don't know, maybe it's been a few years since that, time, because she looks a bit different here, or maybe she, like, combed her hair differently or something. Do you think that's the real Green Jacket Lady? Professor?
I guess it could be. It's kinda hard to tell.
It's hard to tell. Let's ask the chat. Does this look like the Green Jacket Lady?
It says, "I made the jacket."
Wait, uh, let's see. Does that look like her?
That from, yeah.
Is it her though? It's hard. I feel like she has that cap on her head.
Hmm. I
Oh, it
don't
says she does. She owns it and said that she took it as a compliment. Nobody could tell if she was a woman or not because she's non-binary. And yeah, okay. I mean, she looks like a lady.
well, but,
I guess.
you can it takes all kinds, there's just so many different, possible genders, you never know.
Yeah, she was. UK Gamer says she was wearing a hat in the famous clip. That is true.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like her, but I don't know. I'm maybe in my own spare time, maybe I'll research this more.
Hmm. Yep.
So the blind eye said she looks like a garbage pail kid. I don't know. Uh, you said that, not me.
Yeah,
I,
yeah,
I,
wasn't us.
yeah, we didn't say that. You said it, and I'll think about what you said. Ah, Caleb Levine says, no, she's smiling in that picture. Crazy lip birds don't rarely smile. Maybe. In any case, back to what we were discussing. So I think it's fair to say so Trump did a bunch of stuff, and I think we went over some of the key things. The only question is if it'll stick, if how many lawsuits there'll be, and how easy it'll be to get these orders in. Because yeah, you can give executive orders, but some of these challenges could become legal and maybe lengthy. But we'll see what happens. There was also that whole thing with Colombia, right? That this whole strange things with the prisoners, and he wanted to send them here, and they didn't want them, and they sent them back. And then, the president had a meltdown, and then somehow he ended up reversing course, and that was a very bizarre, that whole thing.
Mhm. Yeah. I Sorry, I was still trying to look up the green jacket lady
No, I
and
showed
compare
compare.
pictures.
It's okay. Listen, it could be her. It could be her. But I
Could
guess
could be,
what
could
I
be.
wanted to ask you is that
Yeah.
that was kind of a win, that thing with the Colombian president, no?
No, it absolutely was. Yeah, it was actually pretty funny. If you saw some of the left-leaning commentators on X and some of the other platforms, making videos about, oh, he thinks he's gonna, repatriate these people. He's gonna send these people back to their countries, and they're not gonna take him. They're standing up to Donald Trump, and they're gonna make him pay with their tariffs. And then Trump comes back and goes, okay, well, we can do higher tariffs. That's fine, whatever. And then eventually, like, they came to a deal, and that's how it works. That's
Yeah.
exactly how it works. Somebody makes a threat, somebody else makes a threat. We say, "Hey, who do you think is gonna be the big dog in this fight? Who do you think that the US can do without Colombian goods longer than the Colombia can do without US goods?" And then the Colombians go, "Yeah, you're right." And so they made a deal. As from what I understand, at least I was trying to read something about it at one point. I think it sounds like the agreement is essentially they're only going to be allowed to repatriate so many at a time, and then there's going to be like they have to tell them when the flights are coming because they're going to have like uh, military or police or something like that ready to escort the criminal, people getting off the planes. So, so there won't be just like total chaos. Um, but yeah, they've essentially just said, yeah, okay, we're good. This total win for Trump, absolute win, 100%.
Yeah. So I think that that worked out well. So yeah, so he's definitely doing a lot of things. He's ruffling a lot of feathers, and then I guess that's a good segue into our next thing, that you have Selena Gomez.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Man, Selena Gomez. I mean, she didn't take kindly to Trump removing people and sending them back.
Yes.
But the thing is that from
Poor
what I understand,
thing.
he basically arrested criminals. Unless I didn't understand. I mean, I get it that sometimes when you're targeting like gang members and criminals, you could accidentally maybe, round up the wrong people or something like that. I'm not taking that lightly, but I have a feeling that in this case he really did, you know, what he said that he did. It seemed like they really targeted people who were actual criminals.
Yes, the as of this point, the ICE raids have been almost exclusively focused on criminals, people with criminal backgrounds. There was one guy who was arrested the other day, had 17 different charges against him, criminal charges against him, some that were in other countries, some that were in the US, and had actually been deported before under Obama and had come back. And so these are criminals. These are not just people, yes, we're going to have a time when we talk about people that were allowed to come over into this country, quote unquote legally, by the Biden administration, under their rules at the time. We're going to have some discussions about the massive numbers of people that they allowed to come over here. We're in some cases flying into the country on our dime. We're going to have to get to that. But right now, they are laser focused on finding criminals, people who are gang members, people with criminal backgrounds, people who are dangerous and need to be deported from this country. They are focused on trying to get these people and get them out of our country because they are a danger to our population. And so, yes, they are occasionally getting undocumented aliens, getting these illegal aliens that are illegal simply by their status of being here. They are encountering those people in these raids that they're doing. I think there was one specifically. They were talking about. There was the guy. Remember the guy that you saw that was hollering about, Biden was his hero and stuff like that, and F Trump, Biden forever, all that stuff. You can't make me go back to Haiti. In some of those raids in that same time period, like in Boston, there were some gang members, some illegals with criminal records that were being, sought after, and they would break in, they would enter a home, and they would find not just the person they were there for, but there's some other targets of opportunity, some other people who legally do not have status here in the United States. And so on occasion, some of those have also been picked up, but those have not been their target. They're going after criminals. That's their focus right now.
Right. So that's what I thought. And let's just look at this video of Selena Gomez's response.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say that I'm so sorry. All my people are getting attacked.
Attacked. The children.
They don't understand. I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something, but I can't. I don't know what to do. I'll try everything, I promise.
I don't know if it's my friend Nick from Midnight's Edge After Dark was saying that she's just kind of this celebrity dumb. Like, she lives in a bubble.
Absolutely.
She's just a dumb kind of. I mean, there's a part of me that I understand how bad this looks and how stupid she is, and on the other hand, I really feel like she lives in a bubble and just is clueless. And probably she took down this thing knowing, probably somebody explained to her how dumb this was. But some of these celebrities should really think. I don't know what she thought that she was benefiting by doing this. She looks, sometimes it takes years to build a reputation or an image or something like that, and then you could do something in a minute and ruin it all. And this is not a good minute. This is if she were my client and she would have asked me, "Hey, do you think that this is a good idea for me to do?" I would have said, "No, don't do this."
Yeah, and so there's been a number of different discussions about this Selena Gomez out there crying. Some people saying, "Hey, you're awfully rich. Why don't you use some of your money to support some of these people? You can take them into your home. You got a big house. Why don't you help take care of a few of these people yourself?" Another thing, Tom Homan, who is now our the head of the border right now, the border czar under Trump, who's making sure that these deportations are happening and that they're rounding up these people and sending them out of the country. And Tom Homan said, if you don't like it, go to Congress and change the law. We're going to do this operation without apology. And he also followed that up with these tears.
Selena Gomez, you're a
Sorry, go on.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of people who were, think that she's just ridiculous. Tom Homan also followed that up in another interview where he said about Selena Gomez's tears. He said, "We had 500,000 children who were sex trafficked in this country, separated from their families, put in the hands of criminal cartels to be smuggled into the country. The administration can't find over 300,000 children. Where are the tears for them?" And he's exactly right. The Biden administration lost 320,000 children. They don't know where they are. They don't know where they went. They don't know how to find them.
I wanted to see, I don't know, I saw this earlier today. I wanted to see what this guy was saying. I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
crying over illegal.
Okay.
Shame on you, Selena Gomez, for fake crying over illegal aliens being deported back to their homeland. I've never seen you cry over the missing and exploited women and children that get trafficked through the southern border into the United States of America. I've never seen you cry over the American citizens that have been hurt or unalived by these same illegal aliens that you're crying for. Selena Gomez, why don't you house these people in your LA mansion or one of your mini homes that you possess? Selena Gomez, you're a fraud and a fake.
So yeah, I guess not everybody is happy with what she's saying. There was another one that's also, I don't know, there's just people around there just trying to, like, she has like imitators.
Guys, I'm sorry, but all my people are getting attacked.
So you have this lady.
I was going to calm down and chill out and be Selena Gomez. Let me explain something to you oh so quickly. And I told myself I was going to calm down and chill out and be a cool voice of reason on this app, but you people make it really hard. Your people, you're not from Mexico, number one. You were born in Texas, one of the greatest states here in the United States of America. You are afforded rights and privileges that these immigrants do not have. And need I remind you, they are illegal. They broke the law. And most of the criminals, violent criminals who are being taken out of this state, they're not even from Mexico. Now, granted, don't get me wrong, some of them are, and yes, Mexico is receiving deportees back because, again, they broke the law. But to go online crying, put a Mexican flag and say, my people, I'm so sorry. That's a little dramatic if you ask me, right? Do celebrities literally, like, you guys don't need the clout, okay? You are very well off. You have made millions and millions of dollars. Do you just go online and look up trending topics and go, let me sympathize with what's going crazy right now? Where was your outrage for the 400,000 missing children on the border? Where was your outrage for the women and children getting completely taken advantage of and raped on the border? Where was your outrage for Aurora, Colorado? Where's your outrage for North Carolina and LA when billions and billions of dollars of our taxpayer money is going to illegal immigrants who are not even citizens of this country? Get a grip, and I'm glad you took that video down because you knew what was coming for you. And any ounce of research would have told you that was wrong and it wasn't going to look good.
Can't really argue with this lady. She seems to make sense. This one, I don't know why. I probably shouldn't have found this funny. I feel ashamed of myself that I do. Did you see this one?
No, I haven't seen that one.
I felt bad. This shouldn't have amused me. But I don't have found that funny. I admit it. But
You're terrible. You're absolutely terrible.
oh, I see. We have a guest here, trying to join us. I don't know what's going on. I think you should.
Hello.
Hey, Adam Gray. Do you have OBS?
I do. I'm trying to get it to function correctly. I apologize for my avatar, but
It's
hello.
okay. At least you're here.
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Istofobo sent me a meme that he wanted us to look at.
Oh no.
No, I think it's okay. I guess it's something. I guess that Trump posted. I don't know if he did, or it's now like sometimes people pretend that he posted, and I don't even know if he did. But let's assume that maybe it is something that he posted. Rename. Tell some jokes for a second.
Tell some jokes.
There was this guy from Ireland named Bono, and he sold out.
He did at that. He did sell out. There's no question at all about that. Yeah, no, there was, like I said early on, I did enjoy U2 early on, but yes, much later that when they were doing songs for was it Batman Forever?
Yeah,
One of the Batmans, they did a song for it, and then
I think it was Batman Forever. Yes.
Yeah. Just every time it's like, oh, not any. Just stop. It's time to break up the band. Go elsewhere.
I think it was called like "Kiss Me, Kill Me, Kill Me, Kiss Me."
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
Darn, I'm good.
Go somewhere else and produce something.
This is the meme that Istophobos wanted us to look at. That I guess the top one says who the media wants you to think Trump's deporting, then who Trump really is deporting, and obviously there's a difference between the two groups. Listen, I don't take it lightly. You know, when you do stuff like this, it's sort of a slippery slope, and you know, I'm sure there's people. Even the other day when I told you that maybe there were people that legitimately had appointments to talk about asylum, and then the second that he came, he just canceled everybody's appointments. Maybe there were some people that needed that appointment. I'm not saying that every single person here is a criminal or bad. It's just I think that a lot of criminals seem to have entered here, and that's an issue. It's not a great situation to be in that we even have to deal with this.
Yeah, there's been so many illegals that have poured into the country, and there was absolutely no controls over who was coming in. Oh, there we go. We got an avatar for you, Adam.
Oh, am I here?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a ghost.
Sorry, guys. I'm technically inept, but thanks for having
It's
me.
okay. You're like a ghost monster, even though there isn't a white ghost
That's my
monster
thing.
in
Yep.
Pac-Man.
I'm
There is
here.
no white one. There's Inky, Binky, Clyde,
Pinky and
Pinky, and
Clyde.
Clyde. Yeah, Clyde
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
the orange one. Pinky is the pink one.
Oh,
Uh,
they're a hoot. Let me tell you.
Inky would be the red one, and Binky is the blue one.
I
Yeah.
think you might be right on that one. Yeah.
Inky, Binky, Pinky, and Clyde.
Pinky and Clyde. Clyde is the orange guy, I
That's
think.
the one. You don't forget the orange one. And really, if you played Pac-Man, the orange one is always like the wild card. You don't really know. They all go like in one direction, and that one always kind of surprises you. You don't know exactly. He's kind of dragging
Well,
behind them.
Orange Clyde bad. I mean,
Once,
Goodness.
you know what?
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I was pretty good at those kind of arcade, whatever it was. I was good at that stuff.
I was good at the early games. I feel so left out of the tech loop right now. I can barely get OBS to happen. So
No, I mean, I think I was active until like, I think around like PlayStation 3, I kind of jumped off. I didn't have time. It's not that I don't like games. People think, oh, you don't play, must mean you don't like them. And what
no,
a
it's
lot,
an investment. It's a lot
it's
of work.
it's not only an investment. It's like if I have games and I like them, I may just sit there and play, and then I won't remember what else I have to do. And I really like games. It actually, I'm coming from a place that I really do like them. Not that I don't like them and I don't want to have them. It's the opposite. It's like I think I stopped getting the consoles because I felt that I was playing too much.
Yeah. Well, I used to be real heavy in video games, and then around COVID, I started spending a little bit more time like in streams and talking to people online, and then truth be told, in the last few years, I've played less and less because there's just less and less to play.
I
Like,
agree.
there's just not anything new that's particularly enjoyable. I mean, I've spent more time playing retro stuff really than I've spent playing new stuff. I think the newest game that I played over the holidays, over Christmas time, I picked up the RoboCop game that came out this past year and played through that. And that was fairly fun. It was a
I heard that was
mid-budget
good.
it was a mid-budget game. It had its limitations, but it was pretty fun, and it really did stick. It was better than RoboCop 3, I'll tell you that much. Uh, it stuck really close to the lore, and there was a lot of little bits and pieces from the films and stuff. But yeah, I just don't play that much anymore because there's just all that much that's worthy of playing. I tried to pick up one of the Assassin's Creed games the other day that's included on PlayStation Plus, and I played it for about
Yawn.
half an hour, and I was just like, I don't
Yeah.
want to play this
How
anymore.
many times can you throw yourself against the side of a building and just not connect?
It's like I
It's
just don't want to play this anymore. I'm not having
no,
fun. I'm not having fun doing this. So
no. I had to sit down Japanese Space Invaders cafe table. I had a stand up. Um, um, what's it called? What was the big vector game? Uh, oh my god, Tempest.
Tempest, yeah,
Tempest.
Tempest.
Yeah, I had a Tempest for a long time, and I had a couple other consoles, and like that was way more fun than what we've got now. I gotta say, and it's not just because I'm old. It really was more fun. It really
Yeah.
was. It was just
Wait, we got a super chat.
Yes, we did. Yes.
hey,
Super chat
So
over on YouTube. Yes.
Blade Nicotera, $20. Hi, have you talked about Captain America already? I haven't yet. We
Yeah, we
were
haven't
gonna
gotten there
get to
yet.
that. That was actually we're really getting close to it, so we're definitely gonna address it.
let's
Obviously,
crash it.
thank you so much for the $20. It's again, people are so kind to us tonight, and it's really, really nice of you. Uh, what were we talking about? You were saying something about video games?
Oh, just saying that it just in general, like, although I really do enjoy video games, and I've bought all the new consoles for a long time. I'm sure I'll buy a Switch 2 when it comes out because Nintendo is definitely one of my One of my favorite uh, one of my favorite publishers of games, and all their first party stuff is just fantastic. But uh, you know, I felt no desires like, oh look, PlayStation 5 Pro. What does that get me? More frame rate. Okay. I don't really care.
120 hertz.
Yes, more
Hey,
hertz gets me
yeah.
more hertz. I don't care. I don't need it. They're not even taking advantage of the current stuff that's the current technology that's available in the PlayStation 5. Why do I need a Pro? And to be honest, any of the new stuff that's coming out anyway, that's going to take advantage of it. Most of it's trash. So it's like
They're
I
they're
just don't
pushing the
care
platforms
anymore.
ahead of the content,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
nothing
and
on a PS5 that you need to buy a PS5 for. It's
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I mostly play PlayStation 4 games on my PS5
Yeah, I'm
because
happy with my PS4. Totally happy with it. I play Borderlands 2 all day long.
oh yeah, there you
That's
go.
my jam.
Oh yeah. Oh, my son absolutely loves the Borderlands games. It's some of his favorite.
But
Just
by
the
the
Good
way,
just the
lad.
total chaos of it. Just
before I forget, if whatever platform you're watching on, you should really if it's possible, to put a like, whether you're on Rumble or anywhere else. Make sure to
Yes.
like the stream. It always help. The stream always helps. And speaking of Borderlands, which was a crappy movie, it looks like Captain America is going to be a pretty crappy movie, and we also have issues with its star. So there
yeah.
was some drama with that. Let me start off. Let me find that video that he's blabbing.
And we got Jamie Lee Curtis in the new Section 31 movie, so that's cool.
Yes. There's also another connection there. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is.
Uh,
You know what? In my review, when I did it, I didn't even remember the stupid Jamie. By the time I got to Jamie Lee Curtis, I was just so annoyed, and I wanted this thing to end. I saw her, and I'm like, okay, she's talking. I don't care. Like, I couldn't even care less what she was saying. I said, it's never going to get a sequel. You know what I mean? It's just a stupid cameo at the end and means nothing.
Here you go. I've got the video up here
You
for
got
it.
the video?
So this is actually a post from the Master at CDS. I was reading this one earlier. I really like it because it talks about sort of the video that he has, but then sort of his response to it, which is completely nonsensical.
Wow.
So here's the
For
video.
me, Captain America represents a lot of
Oh,
So it doesn't matter, but it definitely matters.
different things, and I don't think the
why is it stopping?
term,
Thanks, Elon.
Yeah, great
you know,
great job.
America.
Oh, what the hell?
Wow,
Okay.
weird.
I don't know why it keeps stopping.
For me, Captain America represents a lot of different things, and I don't think the term, America should be one of those representations. Like, it's about a man who keeps his word, who has honor, dignity, and integrity,
And
and who is trustworthy and dependable. It's
Uh-huh.
it's kind of this is kind of like an aspect of a dream coming true. When I was a kid, all of us as actors, I believe, want to get back to that day before someone told you no. When you look out your door and you see a 5-year-old kid with a stick and he's slaying dragons to save the princess in the tower, that kid really believes there are dragons out there. That stick is really a sword and he's really trying to save that princess. And then one day somebody told him, no, there are no dragons. That's not a sword. And that princess is not there. And all of his little dreams were dashed. So, as an actor, I feel like our job is to get back to the day where we see that dragon and we slay that dragon to save that princess. And that's kind of what this movie was for me.
So we
you
get that.
got it. You
we
got
get
it
that in
better,
context.
child.
Yes.
I don't understand what he's babbling about. What does he
we get
want?
that in context, but then let's just listen to just that very beginning part again. Right?
For me, Captain America represents a lot of different things. And I don't think the term, America should be one of those representations.
Okay. Fascinating.
Even if you're Captain America. I mean, really,
Yes.
you're the captain of America, but
yeah.
okay. Well, all right.
That's kind of the whole point of Captain America, is he represents the American ideal in a way, that is a champion for America's values. And you know what, you can as an actor, you can have your own opinions on America and what it has done well and what it hasn't. But yeah, he also there's there were some other comments that were also made, including this one. So Anthony Mackie saying what it means to play Captain America. He says, I feel like it's just as important for black kids to see a black Captain America as it is for white kids. Growing up, one of my favorite superheroes was Green. It wasn't about race or anything. It was about him being a good guy trying to do the right thing. So in one in one discussion, he basically says, we need kids to see superheroes that are the same color they are. And then right after that says, you don't need to see superheroes that are the same color.
Yeah, actually. No, it's
Okay.
a
Okay,
beautiful
sure.
statement. It's great.
Mhm.
So sometimes these celebrities really, I think at this point the studios should just tell them to shut up already. It's like they're not helping their movies. I this was such a softball question. It's like, hey, you're Captain America. Does that mean that you're representing America? I don't know what they're asking. He's like, no. It's like, dude, just say yes. That's all you have to do is like, yep, Captain America, America. You know what I mean? Like,
And again, even if you don't, even if you have personal feelings, complicated feelings about America because you disagree politically with the current administration or maybe actions that the government has taken in the past, or individuals in the country that have different views than you do, you could still say, I want Captain America to represent the best that America has to offer.
And I'll go full devil's advocate here. Like, he's had a horrible experience trying to make this movie for 3 years, and
Yes.
he's just unhappy. Like, it hasn't been pleasant for him no matter how much money they've given him. He's unhappy about it. But, like, he blew this. He absolutely blew this. All you have to do is sit there and, pump your fist and say yes.
right, it was a softball question.
Yeah,
It's the
and he
dumbest
blew it.
question. It's the dumbest question anybody's ever asked. And unless like you're an idiot, all you do is say, yep. That's all you that's all you
Apparently,
needed
yep.
to say. Go,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. That would have been it. That's why he probably got paid 10, 20 million or what, 10 million, whatever it is he got paid to do it. You get paid that money. So somebody says, hey, you're Captain America. That means you represent America. You go, you betcha. You know what I mean?
Well,
I sure do.
actually,
I sure
yeah.
do. That's
Well,
all you
some
need to do.
kids,
It was the easiest thing. The easiest $10 million ever made is he needs to say yes. That's it.
Yeah, he blew this, and I get that he might be really discouraged from his experience, but you still have to finish the job. You have to finish the job, and
You have
And
to finish the job.
oh
yeah.
yeah,
A-
and I saw this quote. I saw this video over the weekend, and I thought, well, there's another $100 million this movie's not going to make.
It was already kind of, on the verge of dying at the box office. And this
Yeah.
guy came and just some of these weirdos like him and like Rachel Zegler and all those, they're such weirdos. Like, why can't you just shut up and not do this? This is
Yeah.
not helping anybody.
And do
like
your
this-
job.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
And
just your job. That's
I
all it
think
is.
I think Tom Connors, he's told me before something like that he could have said, well, America is a complicated place. There's good and bad people, but obviously Captain America represents the best of us. Or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
really, really feel like being such a philosopher, which again, not necessary. This isn't this kind of event. He's not at some political rally where somebody wants to hear his politics. He's basically sitting in front of a crowd that likes the MCU, and all he needs to say, hey, does Captain America represent America? And he said all he needs to say is, he sure does.
He's
He sure
misreading the
does.
room in the worst way, because all he has to do is nod his head through this, and he's good.
That's
But
it. He does yes with his head, not even say anything. Just do yes.
Yeah,
Everybody claps. Move on.
he's blowing this bad.
Professor, do you want to read or his? His
Yeah, so
response?
this was kind of the follow-up here. His response after, obviously Disney's promotional people got to him and said, what the F, sorry, Sean, are you doing here? This movie is already going to be a disaster and you're tanking it. And so yes, he came out and in Comic Sans. Why? Why Comic Sans?
I don't know,
He
that is
wrote
weird.
Let me be clear about this. I'm a proud American, and taking on the shield of a hero like Cap is the honor of a lifetime. I have the utmost respect for those who serve and have served our country. Cap has universal characteristics that people all over the world can relate to. Except you can't seem to refer to him as Captain America. That's because no one wants to refer to you as Captain America, Anthony. That's
Anything
probably
but,
part of it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm a proud American, but you certainly didn't sound very proud of it when you made that previous comment. And it's, oh God. And
No cap,
seriously,
mocap. I mean, what's happening?
Comic Sans.
He probably didn't even write this. This looks like a lawyer and a publicist wrote, but really, I would have expected them. Maybe they're trying to spin it so he doesn't. Instead of saying, "Listen, I messed up. I shouldn't have said that. I apologize. I love being Captain America. I love being American. Maybe you can get out of it." Instead, this is like, he doesn't want to admit wrongdoing, but somehow wants to clear it up and spin it somehow. And I don't know. I don't know if that's what his people told him to do, if that's what Disney wanted him to do, or that's what he wanted to do. But I don't know that this is good. This isn't a great apology.
And regardless, he can't finish the thought.
No, it's just, oh, it's so pathetic. It's so sad. I mean, honestly, this movie was already going to be a massive failure anyway. It's not exactly going to, injure them all that much. It's not going to hurt their bottom line all that much. They were already going to lose hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars
No,
on the movie.
it is a Titanic-sized disaster.
Yeah.
No, but this is the kind of stuff that's not good for your career, and that's what I was also saying
No.
about Zegler. That I kept saying, right now everybody's sort of patting her on the back and saying you're so stunning and brave, it's so great. But after a number of failures, that she did all this crap and all these failures, they're going to remember all of this. She's going to become a person that they don't want to hire. She doesn't bring the viewers, and she's just a liability. And I feel like this guy could end up being something similar. Look at what happened to Brie Larson. Brie Larson, everybody told her, "You're so great, you should go say that men and white men aren't good. They shouldn't see her movies." I don't know what. She went and said all that stuff. I bet you at that time they probably all told her how stunning and brave she was, even the Disney people. I bet you she regrets that. I don't care what you tell me. I bet you that Brie Larson regrets that moment she got on the stage and said that. Like I said, it takes, maybe a whole lifetime to build a reputation or an image. In 5 minutes, it could all just go away. And those are the type of moments where you're making it go away. Telling your audience, telling your people that are going to buy tickets to see your movie, that you don't want them there, or you don't value them, or you think they're stupid, is not a good way to go about it. And in this case, with Anthony Mackie, it's Captain America. If you don't like America, then maybe you shouldn't be Captain America. I don't know what to. I mean, honestly, I don't think that I think he should have been Falcon, and I don't think he should be Captain America to begin with. But if you're already getting that role, at least don't go around and saying that you don't like it. And it certainly doesn't help after that stupid Falcon and Winter Soldier show, which, like, that was a crappy kind of you know 2020 Summer of Love influenced program, which was also annoying.
Well, it's a bad look on top of like years of bad product, which is all he really had to do here was sit down and be like, "Hey, man, check it out." Like if it's not for you, it's not for you. But we think it's great, and party on, Garth. But he didn't. He tried to stumble into something a little more uppity, and it didn't play. It didn't play at all. It's not working.
No, and you know what? Instead of this crap, what I would have done if I really cared, make a video. Sit there and say, "Hey guys, I kind of stumbled my words there. I absolutely love, being American. I love being Captain America. I understand how that came out. It was definitely, I didn't word it the way I wanted to, and I want you to know that, it's super important to me that I'm Captain America and I love America." He would have done that. I think people would have been like, "All right."
I think it would have been a lot better than what he did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, at least, like, you sit there like a man, you look and you say it and that's it, and, do it in the nicest possible way. Maybe somebody would have given you the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
Not
this is
amazing, some
embarrassing.
people would still get annoyed, but maybe somebody will give you the benefit of the doubt. You reverse course, you made a video, you explained it. I think people, at least some people, would have been like, "All right, fine."
Well, the thing is, as an audience, we're all just having to suffer through this crap without getting his paycheck. So the least he could do, would be to try and fluff it a little bit. I don't know. This is just embarrassing.
Yeah.
It is. It's
Yeah.
extremely
I
embarrassing.
was joking. I forget who it was. I was joking in the threads with on X about this, but I said, you know what? He's just upset that he wasn't invited to the Avengers for Kamala video.
I'm actually surprised he wasn't in it. I would think he'd be the first one at that Avengers for Kamala, no?
You'd think he would have been in there. Maybe Disney said, well, you're not, you're still making movies for us, whatever. You can't be in that video because just about everyone who was in that like
Oh, you're
isn't like
right.
actively making projects for Disney. So maybe they nixed it. But yeah, he wasn't in that video. So yeah, that was
Interesting.
funny. Yeah, maybe that he's just pissed that he didn't get
Man, anybody
invited.
that was in that video, that's gonna be like a cringe that'll follow them forever. That's like their duck and cover. If you know what I'm saying, like that's the
Yeah.
duck and cover of their career that they did that. Kamala forever. It's so cringe. It's so cringe.
Down with democracy.
Down with
It's
democracy.
bad.
It's just like it was cringe when I saw it then, and man, it didn't age well either.
Oh no. No, that's good. That's going to be brought back up later on.
For many
That's
years,
going to be
many years,
That's going to
people
be
are gonna.
clips of them saying "down with democracy,"
It's so
totally out
silly,
of context, and it's going to be great.
completely. What was I gonna say?
Oh,
Well, now if we
gosh.
already got Adam Gray here, we can talk a little bit about Star Trek Section 31.
Oh
Did we
boy.
Oh
actually have
boy.
a conversation here on it, or we haven't
No, we
discussed
haven't
it?
gotten an opportunity to talk about it here yet. It came out on Friday, so yeah, it was after our last show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did a
Wow.
review. I posted a review. I don't know if anybody saw it, but I
Yeah, it did.
posted. I thought it was a pretty decent review.
Well, your review is not in question.
Yeah.
The issue is the material that
No,
we're
no, I know
covering.
that at least. Listen, I can't redo the show. That's not it's not my jurisdiction. All I can worry about is if my review was thorough, and I think that it was. I don't know, Professor, you saw it. I tried
Yeah.
to touch upon the main issues of it, but I don't know if I managed to convey
No,
it.
I thought it was good. Yeah. It was
I
good.
could
Yeah.
have like dwelled more on how stupid the characters were, but honestly, like even making this, I was more annoyed just that this is the movie, and there's really not a lot to say about it. It's really, really awful.
It's really awful. I just watched the Red Letter Media coverage of it.
Oh, I saw they posted that earlier today. I've not
They
gotten
they
to
didn't hold
watch it.
any
So
punches back. So yeah, it's rough, man. Like everything about this smells bad.
oh, it is something else. Actually, we have Mark D with a C is I saw is in the chat with us. Hey there, Mark D. Actually, yeah, joined sort of impromptu. I popped in to his Sunday night geekery Sunday evening, and he was running out of panelists. People were dropping out, so I said, "Hey, if you need someone else to come and roast this pile of garbage, I'm sitting in the studio right now." So he invited me over, and yeah, I got to tear apart Section 31 with Mark D with a C and everyone else that was on that evening. So that was I refer to it as group therapy. All of us just sort of working out our anger and frustration with everything that was wrong with that show, especially on the very nerdy level of people who really have a deep background in Star Trek and knowing.
I appreciate James Caserta's comment in the chat, which
Yeah.
is far more sarcastic than I would ever
Oh, that's
be.
pretty.
Yeah, no, the Star
Yeah.
Wars sequels don't bother me either.
Yeah.
This is the worst of Kurtzman. This is
Oh, by far.
absolutely unbearable. Like, it's not even like something that you would put on in the background while you scroll TikTok. I mean, it's awful. It doesn't look like Star Trek. It doesn't play like Star Trek. The characters, nothing about this is Star Trek. And we've been saying that for years with all of these Kurtzman shows. But I mean, my God, it is
This
just
one,
a catastrophe.
this one, the thing that annoyed me, even forget about how bad it was. The fact that like it had this kind of shaky camera with these sudden zooms.
The snap zooms. Yes.
It annoyed
Mhm.
me. I said in my review, it's as if like I'm watching YouTube Shorts, but it's Star Trek. And because you know how YouTube Shorts, sometimes you have these things, people do these quick zooms and just move the thing around, and it's just
Yep.
that's
Yep.
what they try to make it look like. And it's like, no, you can't make a Star Trek movie and make it look
For an
like
hour
you.
and a half.
Yeah, for an hour and a half,
Yeah.
you're gonna make it look like YouTube Shorts, and it wouldn't stop. The camera just quickly moves here and there, quick zoom out, quick
Did-
this. It's
did you
so
like-
annoying.
Did you like when they would flip the camera over during the kung fu moves? Like the guy would do a flip and they would spin the camera.
Couldn't
The
stand
thing
it.
the thing
Oh,
that
awful.
bothers me most about all this new Star Trek sludge is how dark everything is.
Oh yeah, there's no lighting.
Yeah,
anywhere.
no lighting.
And
It
this
bothers
whole
me to no end.
the whole movie is orange. The lighting, it's either orange or it's like some sort of
Dark.
pink color. In anywhere there's lighting, it's just orange or pink. Occasionally there's
Some blue.
some
yeah.
blue, real
Right, but-
occasionally, but it's just this orange yellow and it's dingy and it's dark. And then like the whole thing is it's total nonsense. The characters are just complete pastiche, a ripoff of characters from every other heist movie you've ever seen, Ocean's 11 or whatever.
I don't know where you even start with the bad characterization because you have this super secret, ultra infiltrating, secret bad guy,
Yeah.
whatever, and they all have their own uniforms. They all have their own badges. They all
Yeah.
have their own insignias,
Yes.
and
Yeah,
they're
they
decorated
started that.
as secret agents.
They
Yeah.
were the
they-
most unconvincing secret agents ever. They
Yeah,
looked
and they
like
Oh,
a bunch of
baffling.
bums.
They started that in Discovery, right? They started that in STD,
Oh,
where
God,
suddenly
awful.
there's where we were introduced to Section 31, which by the way only had 3 episodes in Deep Space Nine. Only showed up 3 times. And the first one was them trying to recruit Bashir. Like you're
Right. I
brilliant,
remember that.
you're capable, and we think you would be able to help us in our mission, and essentially explain what it was. We're talking about something so covert that most of Starfleet, most of the Federation doesn't even know that it exists. And the people that actually would work in this were not secret agents who worked in teams and stuff. They were isolated and spread out. They wouldn't even know necessarily who they were reporting to. They weren't just an intelligence agency. They were more than that. They were deeper than that. They would
Agents.
embed into parts of Starfleet and the Federation or other parts of the galaxy for ages. No one would know that they were secret agents. They were just other just people that had this agenda worked in.
The thing that irritated me the most was listening to Kurtzman try and explain it off as saying, well, you wouldn't have that naive, positive, post-capitalist, wonderful world if it wasn't for these people, these secret agents, these assassins and backstabbers
Yes.
keeping it all afloat. And that
And-
just that blew it for me. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, really?
It
Really?
does go back to kind of what was introduced, when it was introduced, how it was eventually, sort of sold was, there are people out there who are willing to sacrifice their morality, sacrifice their souls to allow the Federation to continue to be this idyllic society. And there's a moral conundrum there, right? And when you think about it, it's very deep, and you have to think, well, should that be allowed? Should somebody allow that or not? And so there was a conundrum there, a moral thing that was part of that initial discovery of what Section 31 was. But of course, when they moved to the to STD, now it's this agency with its own ships and its own uniforms and its own badges, and it's got strike teams and all of these different things. It's absurd.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
ridiculous.
ridiculous. And they take this just to the nth degree in this. And then again, like I said, the characters are just these ridiculous pastiches, these tropes of characters that you've seen in every other movie. You've got the strong man who's actually really sensitive, and you've got the sex pot, and you've got the tech whiz, and then there's the straight-laced one who wants everyone to follow the rules, and there's a guy with a mysterious past, and then there's the traitor who's gonna, backstab everybody. And it's
And
just
no offense, there's a guy that identifies as a robot, but really isn't a robot. I mean,
Right, and there was something that they're like, "Oh, you have this
yeah, they told the
dysmorphia,
guy who wore the mechanical
dysphoria." They
suits,
said that
the
he had
cyborg
dysphoria.
guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
they said he had mech dysphoria.
Which was
Uh-huh.
also they're trying
Or-
to drop some kind of agenda thing. That thing annoyed me even when they said this stupid dysphoria. Like,
Ugh,
sort of like it's supposed to be like
yes.
like an allegory for whatever.
Yeah.
That thing was they don't even when something is so crappy, they don't even have the right to think about shoving that kind of agenda in there. Not that they would normally, but when that's their movie, I would be embarrassed to even try to shove that agenda there. By the way, Fractured 0001 says Trek needs to be parked for 4 to 6 years and then relaunch with better people. I'm okay with that, but first of all, just get rid, make sure these people leave already. I think
Yeah,
that
don't let Kurtzman produce anything
Yeah,
else.
we need a
he
purge.
needs to go. He needs to go. There's just the fact that he's still there is such an embarrassment for
Yeah.
everybody involved. It's so pathetic, really, that guy is there. And by the way, these characters, you're talking about the story and about all this stuff, and it's great. Did you see the dialogue that these characters had?
Oh,
They're
it
like
was
Oh
these
yeah,
potty
it's
mouth. They're
fantastic.
like 15-year-old TikToker potty mouths that they're like, "What the shit? Oh, you're an ass," or I don't know what they're
The
talking. I'm like,
swearing really bothers me. It really
swearing
bothers me in a
Yes.
Star Trek universe. It
Yes.
really bothers me.
really
Yeah,
bothers
it's
me.
bothered
swear like-
me.
I
Yeah.
swear like a sailor all day in real life, but that's not Star Trek.
No,
And they're not swearing once. They're like, I see a scene. They're saying like 7 curse words in the same minute. I'm like, what is this stupid thing? This is embarrassing.
It's universe breaking. It's just not.
You're
it's-
right. You're right. I don't
Yeah.
like it. It's inappropriate for Star Trek. Star Trek, the whole thing was it was kind of sophisticated and smart, and these people were working in different things. It was above that. Like it rose above just throwing around curses and stuff. So I don't know.
And even if it's not, you know, exemplary of 100% of the land, but in the future, when we're out exploring space and trying to do great things, and even in a somewhat naive realm of positivity and post-capitalism, I don't want to hear people saying "what the fuck." Like it doesn't mesh. It doesn't work.
No. And to be honest, I mean, even just outside of that, Star Trek, most of us found Star Trek. We discovered Star Trek as kids, usually because our parents shared it with us.
Yep.
That's an experience for millions of people. I can't share this with my kids. I
Right.
can't share Star Trek Discovery or Picard, any other junk where they're dropping F bombs and stuff. I'm not going to be sitting down and watching that, with the family.
Not without shame. No.
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
why would you?
and why would you? I mean, it's garbage anyway, you know?
Yeah.
I actually my son said something about, "Oh, there's a new Star Trek movie," and I said, "Yeah,
Nope.
just forget
No,
not
there's not.
just forget about it, you not a new Star Trek movie, don't worry about it."
Let's watch
Uh,
TOS again.
yeah, we'll watch some more, TNG or whatever.
Oh,
Um,
it's embarrassing. It
yeah.
it is so far off the mark, it's hard to digest.
I think really the real win, the takeaway from this is that it is not just hated by the people who hated Star Trek Discovery. It's not just hated by the people who can't stand the rest of New Trek. This is pretty universally just despised by everyone, even the people who want to try and boost all the stuff that's been made by Secret Hideout. It's just terrible.
I mean, I couldn't say for sure, but I don't feel like even the cell phone glancing crowd would find this interesting. It's just terrible. It's objectively badly made content.
Yeah. The CGI in it is just appalling. There's some scenes where stuff is just you can't barely even tell what's happening. There's that thing where they're on like a lift, like a little skiff thing that's moving through a tunnel, and
Yeah,
it's
I
just
saw
this
that.
smeary mess. You can't tell what's happening, what's going on. You've got the whole plot is just this nonsensical. Oh, there's of course it's new Trek, so it has to be a galaxy-ending threat that we have to deal with. It can't just
Everything is
be
now.
yeah,
Everything is the end of the universe.
yeah,
Everything.
it has to be, yeah, the end of the world. It can't just be, "Hey, we need to stop this bad guy before he, you know, sets off a bomb on this planet and hurts some people." It
Or
can't
here's the thing that we don't understand and we don't know how
we
to
need to
approach.
explore it and learn about it
Yeah,
and
we don't know what
yeah,
his objective is or whatever, and so we'll cautiously investigate. It's not that anymore. It's just
mm-mm.
galaxy ending bullcrap, Armageddon device every episode. Like,
You know what annoyed me? That at the end, if I'm not mistaken, like, they finish their stupid mission, and suddenly I think the original Star Trek theme plays in the background,
Yes, it did.
and I'm just
no,
like, "Why did you" they don't deserve to have that theme. They don't deserve it. It's like, I looked at it and I don't know why that part, after watching this crappy movie, that's where I probably got the most annoyed. I'm
no,
like,
I understand it.
I
I
felt like
understand exactly
Greta
what you're
Thunberg.
feeling.
I was like, "How dare you?"
Yeah, no, it's insulting. It
Well, you know
really
what
is
else I found
insulting.
really insulting? Did you notice at the beginning of the of this quote unquote movie, at the beginning of this, they have this absurd, annoying voiceover where they introduce all the characters on the little computer screen.
Oh god.
That they had what sounds to be, it sounds like it is an AI generated version of Majel Barrett Roddenberry doing the voiceover for the computer.
Well, why
That
not?
Really?
they got permission to recreate Majel Roddenberry's voice as the ship computer to do the voiceover for this. And that, oh my god. I
I didn't even realize.
I
Yeah,
could
that's
not confirm that. It sounds like it. It could just be somebody doing a sound alike. Oh, damn it.
right. I wasn't sure. I didn't know, but it makes
Pardon me
sense.
if I assume the worst. Yeah.
Oh, professor is gone.
No, he's here.
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, oh, it's usual browser crash here. It seems to happen at about 2 hours for some reason. About every time. I don't know, but yeah, I'm back. So what I was saying, yeah, it could just be somebody doing a voice alike, doing an impersonation. But it sounded like perhaps it was actually
Well,
somebody
I mean,
doing
again, I'll assume the worst because
yeah,
these people have they have no merit and they get no pass from me from all of the trash that we've
yeah.
been force fed for the last decade, 20 years.
That's yeah, see there's Price. Get dumped 2 hours.
Hey, buddy.
There's Price. He's back.
No, it
Uh,
booted me out.
Yep. It seems like it's like at 2 hours. It just or
Whole list of people, all the
just
people
before
that were
2
here.
hours, it starts to, yeah,
I lost the
dump
list
us
of
out.
people.
Well, I've still got it in, what I can in in the live chat on Rumble and YouTube.
Oh,
So,
by the way, what happened to
do
the
it.
dead man? I feel like he disappeared.
Oh, yeah, I
People
don't see
think
him
I
in the
don't
chat.
notice.
He might have
I feel like the dead man went to sleep.
headed to bed. Yeah. But yeah, unfortunately, this is just another dreadful product of Secret Hideout. It is the summit, as I said, it's the summit of the mountain of garbage that they have produced under that Paramount Plus,
And
CBS
we've
channel.
been trying to negotiate this for years, though. That's the thing. It's not
Yeah.
like they suddenly made a bad product. Like, we're on a wave of bad bullshit from the last 10, 15 years, whatever, when you want to start with the Star Wars sequels or whatever. Like, it's just been nothing but refuse. And any goodwill, any possible pass that I would give any of these people is so far gone, I can't even see it in my rearview mirror. Like, it's just gone. Like, what has gone so far off the rails?
Oh, and that stupid mole. That's the mole thing where he's like a creature within his thing. Man, that
What,
was
what
the
would
little
it take to get back, a feeling of goodwill or a feeling of empathy from these corporations? I can't even imagine what it would look like.
yeah.
no,
It's
but tell me what you thought of that guy, of the
the little
the
bacteria
little
guy
booger
who
that
lived
was
in
like flying inside the guy.
Oh,
lived
inside
inside the
the
laughing
Vulcan?
Vulcan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, God.
that was so lame.
Speaks in this awful Irish accent the
It was
whole
so
time.
awful. It was so awful. And at the end, that they keep the actor, and now he's like pretending to do a different accent.
I'm his wife, and now
I'm
I'm coming on like I'm gonna
another one of
find him.
their silly agendas. You know what I mean? Like they shoved it in there quietly. That thing, and the other one with the dysphoria. I guess what I'm saying is that because the movie was so bad, you didn't even realize that there was also the usual stupid identity politics. It's just
Yes.
like something is so bad that you don't even notice the other thing.
Yeah, the whole you've got the guy that lives in the Vulcan robot. Okay, fine.
Maybe.
He's supposed to be a secret agent. He's supposed to be undercover. He should not be noticed. He shouldn't stick out in a crowd. But yet he's in a Vulcan and he's like laughing it up, and it sticks out like a sore thumb. It doesn't make any sense at all.
I don't even know how to crystallize how bad
Yeah.
what we're being fed is now. I
Yeah.
I have a really difficult time articulating how bad this is.
Yeah.
And how
I
do
mean,
these people not know how bad their product is?
it's just I don't know what kind of deal they did with Kurtzman. People say that he had a piece of it. They did all these complicated deals that they couldn't get out of. But I can't imagine why companies would want to continue just pouring more and more money and letting a guy who does not know what he's doing. He doesn't know what he's doing. Even if he was just a crappy activist that knew something about doing shows and he shoved a lot of propaganda in there. It's not even that. He can't put together a project. His projects are embarrassing.
If I was set out to with the express purpose of money laundering in this industry, I could do a better job.
Yes.
I could fool the media and the audience better than what is happening right now, expressly for the purpose of laundering money. It's insulting. It is beyond rationality how bad the product that we are being shoveled is. I don't know what else to say about it.
Yeah, it's terrible. And speaking of franchises that have been ruined, I mean, today there was also, I think maybe it was yesterday. I'm already confused with all the days. Every day there's some other weird crap. So let me see what it's this thing. I want to share it. I'll share it in a second.
Sure.
Hold on. Tell jokes. Okay.
Uh
Oh dear.
So you see
Oh
this thing
no.
here?
Oh,
Uh-oh.
So basically,
yeah.
I posted this because I was one of the first people that noticed it. Actually, I was awake early. Breaking in an effort to save Doctor Who, the BBC has hired Transformer author Juno Dawson, best known for writing "This Book Is Gay." That's the name of the book. This
Yeah.
is good news, as the show really wasn't gay enough, and this is the book that this person wrote.
Well, I
Mhm.
think that's the problem, is that Doctor Who hasn't become gay enough.
Yeah.
That's what we'll see.
Right.
Yeah, that's why
That's
it
what
didn't
was
do well
missing.
the
It was
first season.
missing.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know, when I was watching Doctor Who recently, I said to myself, it needs to be more gay. It's not
Can we
gay
get it
enough.
gayer?
What'd you say?
Can we get it gayer? I mean,
yeah.
we can get our audience back.
And
I
the
think.
thing is, when I posted it, people were like, "No, that's like a parody," and I'm like, "No, it really. If you will go and Google this author, that is their book. It's not a parody. This is
Nope.
real. This is really happening."
And this is in particular, this is a book that's been pushed very, very hard into public school libraries for elementary school libraries.
Wow.
Uh, so yeah, it's one that many people are quite familiar with.
I am pro gay rights. I'm absolutely pro trans rights, but I do have a very serious issue with the over uh, 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 the overshot of this whole political situation.
Absolutely. Yep.
It has gone so far beyond proportional that it is just baffling to me. And the fact that anyone would dig in deeper to try and create a profit is just baffling to me. Baffling. It has nothing to do with gay rights, trans identified anything. I get it. I support it. I absolutely 100% am with it in my own home and in my community, but they are destroying themselves over this shit. Destroying themselves.
Absolutely. It's
Well,
it's just it's like you said, it has gone too far.
It's off
And
the rails.
and when
Insane.
when people say leave the kids alone and that's enough for them to get canceled, it's kind of like no. That's really the problem. Like you ask a lot of people, you ask people who with very libertarian streaks, and they're going to say, "I don't care if you're gay. I
Yeah,
don't if you're an
I
adult,
legitimately
you
don't.
if you are an adult, you are free to have whatever surgeries, take whatever medications, hormones, whatever you want. But stop messing with impressionable children.
Well, stop
Leave them alone."
weaponizing it against the audience, first of all.
Yes.
Stop holding it against the audience for producing an inferior quality product and then saying, "Oh, you didn't like it because you're so and so." That's exactly
Oh
what
yeah.
is not happening. What is happening is that no one is entertained by this crap anymore. And I absolutely 100%, I'll die on this hill. I support gay rights. I support trans rights and representation. But the fact is, this material is not entertaining. And that is the job of Hollywood and the other studios overseas, is to entertain us. That's
Yes.
not what's happening anymore.
I also think, here's the way I see it. If you're an adult and you made decisions regarding your own life, that's one thing. To try to kind of push these ideologies on young children, whether it's through programming, even like a Doctor Who or any other program we see, or through books like what Professor R2 was saying, that's the thing that starts becoming strange. It's like, let little kids be little kids. Like that's something that I think that an adult has to decide what they want to do with their own lives. Even then, I have like a live and let live approach. If somebody does something and it has nothing to do with me, then I don't care what they do. But to try to keep bringing me into the process and bothering me about whatever decisions they're making, that I like less. You know what I mean? I'm okay with live and let live. People should do whatever is good for them. Just I don't want to be involved in the process, if that makes sense.
Well, don't shame me for refusing to swallow an inferior product when it comes to entertainment.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Entertainment for me is escapism, and that's what I want. I want to get out of my day-to-day problems, difficulties, paying the bills, all that shit.
Of
And
course.
and that doesn't mean that it can't be gay. It just means that it better be fucking entertaining, and none of this stuff is. That's the
No,
problem
I
I
think
have.
that in the past you had even on Doctor Who, you had like the you know Captain Jack, you had like a character like that. Yeah, I mean, people liked his character, and he was a guy that had different preferences or whatever it is, but it wasn't a big deal, and people didn't dwell on it. And what when you don't make something a big deal and you don't bother people, it was there. I think that people for the most part didn't care. Same with like diversity. You had people like Martha, like Mickey. People like those characters, and I don't know. Somehow today they pretend to do all this kind of diversity, but the way they're doing now, it's just annoying. It's over the top and it's
yeah,
alienating people. Not to mention that I really don't know why they have to bother kids with the kind of transformer narratives.
yeah,
I think that that's really something that they should just leave it alone. Either don't lecture to kids or to families because it's not your place. And anyways, I still think what I said. If you're over 18 and you've made decisions regarding your life, those are your decisions. But
hmm
I think to bother kids with it, that doesn't seem right to me. And certainly not to sacrifice entertainment in order to bother kids with that.
yeah. And
Well,
and like I think like you said, Adam, like you can have gay and lesbian stuff in entertainment. You can even have some trans stuff in
sure.
entertainment that is still funny. Uh,
You can still be entertaining
you can
about it
still be
without
entertained.
preaching about it and trying to make me feel guilty for not being a part of, for a better word, an agenda. Like it. I'm not saying that we have to go back to the Benny Hill days or um, comedians dressing up in drag or whatever, just for a quick laugh. That's not what I'm saying at all. The the issue that I have is that those are real problems that real people have, and we should absolutely treat them with respect in the real world. However, it does not override entertainment value. Like you can't just preach down to people and say if you didn't watch this show, you're a lesser person because you don't agree with these, uh, these constraints or whatever. Um, uh, Everyone is dealing with their own crap on some level, whether it's gender or age or race or anything else. That's not the issue. The issue is being told that you are less worthy or you are somehow a bad person for not appreciating having this stuff shoveled into your mouth, and that's not correct. It's
S-
just not.
I just want to. We have a Rumble rant. Some late
Yeah,
guy L1 1990, L 1990, LI. Okay, some
Li,
late
yeah.
guy LI 1990. I always wonder if that means Long Island. Some late guy LI 1990. The Wire had at least two Yuri characters that were well written and well liked. Omar coming, yo Omar coming. Yeah, uh, that was a good character, and I don't think anybody cared. You know what's happened to me. First of all, thank you for the super chat. And I still don't know what happened to the dead man. I hope he's okay. He was here 1 minute and then he was gone, which is
I hope he'll be
uncharacteristic of
back.
him.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say was that prior to all this kind of, for lack of a better term, woke era, I think that I didn't even care if there was like a character that's that and a character that's that. Like I didn't think about any of this stuff. People were just watching TV. Nobody was making a big deal about anything. But now, when I see a movie and they start introducing these type of characters, I'm already kind of annoyed. Basically, the opposite happened. Whatever like diversity and inclusion is,
Right.
the opposite happened. Because
Right.
now when I see it, I already think to myself, okay, they're here because an agenda is going to be peddled. Also, a lot of times, I saw a movie. I actually saw a movie. I forgot to tell you. I saw a movie called Companion, and it made me think. I don't want to go into spoilers or whatever it is, but it made me think about the fact that a lot of times you have movies today, and when you start watching the movie, if there's like a diverse cast and there's one white guy, and let's say there's like a murder, well, if you had to guess who's the murderer, who do you think it would be?
Is it the autistic trans kid?
No, it's always the straight white dude.
It's
That's
the
always the
straight
one that they
white
do
guy.
like, you
Yeah.
know, I'm trying to think, like, I watched the movie, that stupid Disney movie, Wish, okay? So, this girl who's, like, stunning and brave and diverse, she has a group of friends. One of them, turns out he ratted on her, and she doesn't know who it is, and she's standing there, and there's, like, a black kid, a this kid, a that kid, and then there's one white guy. And, like, I just looked at it and I'm like, it's gonna turn out that the white guy sold her out, and, like, her friend that's white sold her out, and, like, 3 minutes later, they discover that it's that guy that sold her out. Like, I knew it. I just sat there and, like, all you have to do at this point, you show the cast of characters, and you know they're looking for, like, a mole or looking for somebody that did something bad or whatever it is, and it's always like that. And I know you think I'm being silly, but it's like that every time, because what happens is that they're like, well,
But you're not. You're being realistic about the content that's being set in front
that's
of
being
them.
produced because they have rules. The rules are, there's a hierarchy. First of all, women are the best. They're better than men, and they're the best at everything, and they're morally superior, and everything they do is great. Now, usually, yeah, I'm trying to think. It used to be that the white woman was on like top, but now at some point maybe they shifted it that like the number one is the more diverse woman, and then she's like in the number two slot. Then behind the women, you have like diverse men, which are below women and not that great, and they'll be put in their place. But there's only one group that's like even less than them. That's like the straight white males. Those are the ones they put like at the bottom of the pyramid, and they have to be reminded all the time how stupid they are, and that's how movies are made. It's like they have this graph, they have the graph, and they follow that guideline. You can put in movie after movie and you'll see the same thing over and over again. There's like a hierarchy, and
I wish you were making this up, but that is
no,
actually the formula that has been going on for years now.
There's
I
a
mean, look,
hierarchy of oppression and hierarchy of privilege, and then you decide, oh well, we can't do that. Have you seen the meme? There's a meme that's been going around for a while where you have you've got these different frames where they're trying to make the movie, and it has a white man pointing a gun at a black man, and it says you can't have a white man killing a black man. And so then in the next frame, it has a black man shooting a white man. It says, you can't have a black man shooting a white man. That's racist. You can't do that. So then it has two black men shooting each other. You can't have black violence shown on TV. You can't do that. And then it has two white men, and it says, where's the representation in this film?
It's true. As dumb as it sounds, that is true.
Price, I wish you were wrong, but you're absolutely 100% accurate.
Take, for example, the Last Jedi, okay? We all kind of talk about how Luke Skywalker was mistreated, but the truth is, what happens to the man? Poe, what happens? He wants to take charge, but like Leia thinks he's too toxic, and she slaps him in the face. She actually goes and slaps him in the face. Nobody ever talks about that. It's like if he was a captain and he had some lady working under him as a pilot, and she walked in and like he came and like slapped her in the face, I don't think that would be like acceptable. You know what I mean?
Well, Admiral Holdo is one of the most disgusting characters ever created in modern mythology. She is absolutely horrifying.
And nobody trusts him. It's like there's 5 people on that ship. One of them is him, and they don't want to tell him the plan. It is so fucking stupid. And then you have Finn, which like they minimized and they embarrassed him. They're like the thing is that because like the Luke Skywalker character is white, they basically treated him more poorly than those other two. But it's like the pyramid that I was telling you. They're just above Luke Skywalker. That's why they get embarrassed, but he gets embarrassed just a little bit more. And then over that, you have like, women. And at the top, it's like diverse women. In the case of Last Jedi at the time, maybe they still let the white women have the top spot because Rey and Kathleen Kennedy and whatever. So the white woman had the top spot. Today, I don't even know. Maybe she'd the lead would probably be more diverse woman. I think that's what they tried then with Acolyte. It's just, it didn't work for them.
Well, it didn't work because it was trash.
Crappy. Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah, I kind of understand what Ryan Johnson was trying to do with Admiral Holdo. I kind of get it, but it's garbage. It's
Mhm.
absolutely garbage.
Ryan Johnson basically just, he took the agenda that Kathleen Kennedy wanted, the notes that all those jerk offs around her. Sorry, Professor. Sorry, Sean. Sorry to everybody.
No, go
So
ahead.
took the notes, that those guys, the story group, whatever, gave to him. He implemented it. Ryan Johnson is a slippery politician. He's not, in my opinion. He's nothing to write home about. He's not extremely talented. You know, there's people that are worse than him. I suppose that if he writes the screenplay and he wants to direct it, he could do a semi competent job with a
He's still getting work. He's still getting
cinematographer.
work after that
Barely,
massive failure.
barely. He barely. He got that stupid trilogy of his with the Knives Out. Honestly, that whole trilogy is a piece of crap. But he leveraged his Star Wars role to get that huge deal from Netflix, and that's how he's making the majority
He's a
of his
ball
money.
player.
What'd you say?
He's a ball player. He's willing to toe the line. I mean, clearly.
Oh, for
Mhm.
sure. He's willing to
Absolutely.
toe the line. He's a good
Therefore,
politician,
you get a new contract.
but they didn't give him his own trilogy, so it must have been, that's what I was also telling you with Brie Larson. They want you to do all the politics and all this stuff, but if something goes wrong, they'll drop you like a hot potato.
Well, we'll see what happens to Anthony Mackie after that last interview.
I think those are things that really damage. He may fall on his feet more than like a Rachel Zegler. Rachel Zegler is like a ticking clock. That Snow White comes out, and really every single thing that she's released has been a failure.
Yeah.
She's never been a cast member of a successful movie,
The
to my
only
understanding.
thing that you could say is that the movie, that Hunger Games movie, didn't lose money. It barely broke even, or it made a few dollars,
What a
far
win.
below expectations. The
Yeah.
studio thought it would make like $1 billion, and it made like, at best, probably after the marketing, maybe it made like $50 million, but that's not the kind of money they were expecting. Meaning maybe it didn't lose money, maybe even made a few million, but when you invest like 100, 150 or whatever with the marketing and all that stuff, you're expecting to get like a real return, not that like there's like maybe
Big
20, 20,
returns.
30, 40. I don't know
Yeah.
what it was. That's not the kind of money they're looking for.
Yeah. No, and it's not happening. And it is baffling to an outsider to see how these people just continually fail upwards. It is baffling.
Mackie, at least, and people are saying that he has a body of work that's more serious. And the thing is, Mackie is actually a decent actor, and he used to be a likable guy.
I
I
don't
just,
blame Mackie for what's happening. I
mean, he
blame
said
everyone
stupid
above him.
shit. He
Yeah.
said, "Oh, sorry, Sean," but he said stupid things.
Yeah.
I blame him for being an idiot.
But I would take that
Yeah.
money too. I just, I would try to do a better job of smiling and nodding than he's recently done. I don't blame him specifically, but I think Rachel Zegler is a really good example typifying the problem that we're all as an audience member suffering under.
Sure.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. They just keep pushing her to the front because she's the right color and she says the right things
Box tick, box
and
tick.
yeah, she ticks the boxes exactly. And
But
yeah, I
she's
mean
loyal.
honestly, I we'll see. But I think after Snow
Hey,
White
maybe
is
Snow White
finally
is gonna be awesome, maybe I'm wrong.
after Snow White finally comes out,
Sure.
I don't see her getting another major motion picture. She'll
I
Yeah,
don't know.
I think that, Mackie can still get a job somewhere. Maybe Disney, this'll put him in a bad situation with them, and they'll remember that he annoyed them. But I think that like he can still find work. I don't think that he's blacklisted after this, even though it's not going to be great. I don't know that
No.
tomorrow somebody's going to want him to lead a film. Look at what happened to Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd, since Ant-Man, I feel like I haven't seen the guy.
No,
Vanished off the face of the earth. That was the end of Paul Rudd.
unless you book a Disney cruise and you have a rotational dining reservation at the Marvel's, fucking dinner club, no, you're not going to see him. He's going to be on those little preview screens. You're going to press the button on the fucking PIM particle distributor thing in the middle of your table and pretend like you're playing along and part of the thing and whatever. No, I don't think the bit that we saw Anthony Mackie do tonight is enough to cancel him or ruin him or whatever. But I do see it as sort of symptomatic of a man who is just exhausted from trying. I really do. And
Yeah, I don't know. I think that
it's
he's
easy
also an
to
idiot. He's also an idiot and too political and lives in the Hollywood bubble and doesn't know how to answer a
sure.
simple question.
Yeah, no argument there. But he could have done a better job of towing the line, whatever. But I don't think this is the end for Anthony Mackie. None of this is his fault.
No.
He's
It's
trying.
No, I think it is his fault because he didn't know how to answer a simple question, and he probably was thinking to himself all this crap that he shouldn't be thinking. But Istofobo said, "Let's see Charmin
He's
Obed.
not wrong.
Let's see Charmin Obed Chinoy get another job." I don't
No.
even know if she's going to hold this job. I'll
No,
be
I
very
don't.
surprised if that movie gets done with Mrs. Charmin lady at the helm of it.
Yeah, and you know what? She'll get another job. She'll make yet another middling documentary that nobody cares about that makes men uncomfortable. That's what she does. That's her.
That's her specialty.
That's her specialty. Yeah, that's her bread and butter is documentaries that nobody watches but make men uncomfortable. That's what she's good at. So, oh boy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, as a man, I can't wait to be made more uncomfortable because I don't get enough every day in my media diet. I don't get shamed enough.
Very true. Very true. Yeah.
As a white male in America.
Need to be put back in your place a little more.
So yeah,
clearly I have the advantage here.
By the way, I saw this. Maybe I'll give like a quick review. I'm actually working on a review, and I'll post it on Thursday. But I saw that movie Companion,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like an early screening that I saw.
I don't
It
know.
hasn't come out. I think it comes out on Thursday.
It's about this is about some sort of like guy has like a robot.
Well, here's the thing. There were two different trailers. One actually didn't reveal so much, and I think that that would have been better if people just saw that one, don't know anything about the movie, and then if there's certain twists, you kind of enjoy the twists. The problem is that then they released another trailer, and I think that it gives away too much of the story, making it like not as surprising. But generally speaking, it's sort of a movie that starts off like the first act. It looks like a really kind of standard movie that you think is going to develop a very certain way. But then after the first act, there's a few things that happen and like completely like, changes your perception of what's going on there in the movie, which in that aspect, it's pretty cool. But I looked at Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes, like the movie is sitting there like at a 91%. And that is not a 91% movie. I could sit there and show you with the writing how many plot holes and issues it has. It is not a 91%. Now,
what genre is this? Is this
okay,
sci-fi or horror?
They call it a horror movie, but I don't think it's horror at all. It's at best like a sci-fi thriller. Horror movie, you're supposed to sit there, it's spooky, you're scared. I wasn't scared of anything. This one even like, has a bit of dark humor. You're kind of even chuckling sometimes. What really bothered me about this movie, and again, maybe 10 years ago I'd see a movie like this and I'd say nothing, but the thing that bothered me this time is that there's a clear kind of smash the patriarchy, men are bad, blah blah blah. And you know what? I'm just really really tired. I know they didn't they didn't hijack an IP. I'll give them that. It's not like they took Star Trek and shoved an agenda in there. It's their own creation. But you know what? how many times do I have to go to the theater and sit there and it's like the same thing that like what I told you that there's a murder mystery and like the guy whatever. I'm not saying it's not exactly like that here. This is a more complicated movie that involves a heist. It involves artificial intelligence. It involves like robots. There's a lot of things happening in this movie. But all I know is one thing. When I finished the movie, I'm like, man, they really ramped up the anti-male, smash the patriarchy here to like 20 out of 10. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
oh,
Like they just
You are killing me right now.
So
why?
Price, I'm at so you were saying that the promotions for this, like, was the fact that there's a robot companion supposed to be a secret?
I mean, I think in the first trailer they don't explain that, and then I think they probably see this is the problem that I was also talking about Better Man, that you need to have good marketing for your movie. They marketed this as a horror movie,
I
and if people
agree. Better Man had the worst marketing I've seen.
worst marketing
Disastrous.
ever for a
Yeah.
movie that was way too expensive for what it was. But
Also true.
with at least with what's his face with Companion, I at least give them credit that they did it for like $10 million. That's the budget,
Yeah.
so they have a chance of making it back. The only problem is initially, I think they wanted to keep the robot thing more of a mystery, but probably they saw that it wasn't tracking well, and nobody knew what it was because it just seemed like some romance of like kinky people that like to do weird things. And
Yeah.
you're like, what is this crap? And then you just don't want to watch it. So I think maybe then they're like, oh wait, what if there was a robot here? And you're like, wow, there's a robot. So hoping to
Okay.
like get people to watch it.
Well, see, I
I
haven't actually seen a trailer. All I've seen was the poster for it. I think I was just happened to be browsing, IMDb, looking at something, and saw posters for upcoming products, and I saw the poster, and from the poster, I was able to guess that it was about a robot girlfriend or something, because in the poster it says something about like find a woman made just for you, and then you can see like the character has like no pupils, like she just has white eyes. I
right.
was like, oh, so it's like a robot.
It's a bit more
Companion thing.
complicated. I don't want to ruin it if somebody actually wants
No,
to go
it's
see
fine.
it.
You don't have to.
But I will say that there was an interesting idea here, but man, the amount of like smash the patriarchy there at the end, it didn't feel subtle to me. It's like I said, if all the movies now were great and I just walked in, I'd be like, okay, that's it. Even that movie, The Substance, that I saw recently, even that was a middle finger to the patriarchy. The only reason why it's not as annoying is that she just doesn't like Hollywood executives and they're made to look bad. But it's not just that. It's like a woman, how she has to be in a male's world. That's really like the thing that Hollywood keeps shoving now, even into their more indie movies. I saw that movie with Pamela Anderson. What's that movie about? She's getting older and men treat her like crap. Like it's just over and over again. It's like they all sit there like NPCs, download like the agenda that they need to like shove into their movies, and no matter what it is, no matter what genre, no matter what the fuck they're doing, sorry, Professor, sorry, Sean, they have to put that in there over and over again. And I just don't. I'm tired. That's the only word that I can say. I'm tired of it. They have a right, and this wasn't the worst movie. Companion isn't the worst movie I've seen. It's not the worst one that peddles agenda. It's not the worst movie I've seen, but it's still there, and I'm really just tired. That's the only thing I can say.
So Istavobo says in the chat, he says that the film Companion, it's already been pre-sold to streaming for about 5 times what it was made for the
I
production
believe
cost.
that. I
So
believe
yeah,
that.
they've already cashed in.
Yeah,
that.
I believe that that's 100% true. I mean, the
Yeah.
thing is that a lot of companies that are more wise now, even that Wolfman movie that I saw, Wolfman wasn't a great movie. I think that until now, I think it cost $25 million to make. I don't know if it made like 30 millions until now in the theater. No matter what happens, they've already set up deals, I think, with Peacock or whatever it is. They're at minimum probably not going to lose money. You know, the question is if a movie that's not good, if they're going to make any money or how much they're going to make. Losing money, they're not going to lose, in my opinion. So that's actually smart. At least they're doing something smart. And in the case of this thing, this cost $10 million. I think that for $10 million, they did a really solid job, by the way. I think that for $10 million, this movie looks pretty decent. It's just the problem I have with it is the screenplay, which I think in parts there were parts that I liked, and in some parts I thought it was flimsy.
It sounds like the creator to me.
It's a
Sounds
bit
like
different. It's a bit different than the creator. The creator, was taking itself more seriously. At least here, some of the reason why you let a lot of these kind of problems with the screenplay slide is that at certain parts there's a little bit of levity, and it's meant to be like a hint of like a dark humor slash satire. I don't know how to explain it exactly. So there's moments that like come off as a little quirky that you can have a little bit of a chuckle with, you know what I mean? Not that I was like seriously laughing. It's not like belly laughs, but I at least it could have been worse than this. It's not the worst movie I've seen. I still think that I'm tired of like all the agenda, and it certainly has it. At the end of the day, there's a very clear thing that whoever is like white and male in this movie does the worst things. Out of all the people you see, they'll do the worst things. It's true. It's absolutely true.
I believe you.
In any case, yeah, I
Yep.
did it. I don't know if people know it's a robot or what it is. I did a review and I tried to be like very vague. I recorded like I think the narration for it, and I was going to try to quickly, maybe tomorrow I'll post it. I'm hesitant because I feel like nobody cares about that movie. It'll be like Skeleton Crew episode 3, but maybe I'll put it up anyways.
I'm kind of shocked at how many people care about the criticism of Skeleton Crew. But it is what it is.
Skeleton Crew, the first episode that was like the episodes 1 and 2, I did a video. That one got like, it got some views. It was all right. But then I'm like, oh, okay, people probably want to see the next episode. So I did a video for like a review for episode 3, and man, that thing tanked. Like there was no interest. There was no interest in that. Like even some people that enjoyed my first and second video, like, the first and second episode that actually watched it, I feel like they just weren't even interested in seeing the next episode being roasted. Like seeing me roast the first and second one, that was like the end of the road for people when it came to that stupid show.
I don't think that's your fault. I think that was the
No,
the
I don't think
material.
I don't think it's my fault either.
Material. Yeah.
I don't think it's my fault. I think that
People are
sometimes
tired. People are really tired of the slop. They're really tired. I know I am.
Well,
yeah, somebody is saying still not sure Price is not an AI. People say that to me, and so, you know what? People go to my reviews and they actually write that comment. They're like, "Oh, your
I'd
review."
take that.
Somebody wrote to me, and this happens almost every like, especially now that AI has become more kind of, more people are using it. Almost every video I do, there's at least one comment of some person saying, "If only you didn't use that AI voice, you wouldn't be so annoying." And I'm
like your video, but lose the AI voice,
right.
man.
That actually are comments that I get not every second. I mean, it doesn't represent the majority. Most of the people either know me or just accept it, the way it is. But usually there's at least one kind of crappy comment of a guy saying something like that. And I usually answer and I just write, "This is my real voice. It's me talking." And usually they don't even
I'll
answer me.
take that as a win, Price. I think you should be okay with that.
And they don't even answer me. They just like, I say it and I'm like, "It's me." And then like nobody says anything.
Well, when you type it in all caps, "This is me," and it's my voice.
"This is me. I am AI."
How dare you?
No, and you know what? I was on that stream, one of those Mr. Brown Alliance streams, and I think it was afterwards.
Oh God, not those.
I think Mega Geek asked me, he's like, "Well, what filter do you use for your voice?" And I'm like, I don't use a filter. Like, this is me talking. He's like, "No, really." And
No, seriously, what?
He's like, "Seriously, what's the filter?" I'm like, "No, I don't use one." And then, even Six that dropped like the banana peel earlier, she at some point, I think, I was talking to her on one of those kind of maybe Twitter phone calls, and even on the call, she's like, "Oh, like what filter do you use for your voice?" And she was serious. She's we've known each other for a while, and until now, she probably still thinks that I actually put a filter on my voice.
I know you're telling the truth, Bryce. That's why I'm laughing so hard. It's just like people just assume that you're, that would be your ultimate goal, that voice.
Somebody wrote, "It's your very regular voice cadence."
Nobody ever asks what filter I'm using on my voice.
Well, no one's ever asked me, that's for sure.
Well,
Well, somebody wrote, if you heard Price do karaoke, you would know he's not an AI. That is true. I do karaoke from
I
time to
haven't
time.
done karaoke with you yet, actually.
Do you do
That would
karaoke?
That would be a good time. I do it once in a while. When I feel like just blowing the copyrights right off the YouTube. Yes, I do.
Yeah, I don't know. I did it a number of times, but then I get worried. I don't want any issues. I don't want people to. I don't want to
It's
get any kind of
problematic.
claim.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
It's problematic. It's not a great road to go down, but
No, it's not.
if you're having a good time, if you're having a good stream and you're tipping a couple back, it's a good time. R2, you can back me up on this.
yeah, sure. Man, I'll tell you. No, if there's one thing you're not going to catch me doing, it's going to be karaoke. I'm just
God.
not my thing. Not my thing.
Fine.
Yeah,
Moving on.
Ruin might be able to get me to sing on stream, but it's not exactly something that I'm excited about.
I'm not proud of myself in the morning. I'm just
No.
saying it happens.
People trip on the deep voice. I get that sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, I guess it's a deep voice. I don't know. I don't know what to do, but it is what it is.
Well,
There's
Bryce,
a-
you have a
if-
great voice. You have a very individual, singular voice, and don't let anyone ever throw shade on you. So
No, I mean, what am I going to do? I can't change it now. I mean, I'm not going to use a filter. This is really what I am. So it is what it is. But I think that, there's one topic that I think we still haven't covered, and maybe Professor, you can help with this one. All that Ubisoft stuff, they just seem to be
boy.
crumbling right and left.
Yeah. So I guess really the big news is a couple of things. One, there have been a number of previews of Assassin's Creed Shadows. There's a few different groups, different people that have gotten a hold of it. You can here I can share. I can share. one
I'm
of the-
very excited.
Whoa, that's not what I wanted to do. Full screened that. Oh no, that's not what I was going for here. So share.
I think this is going to become a historical hurdle that we're all going to look back at.
So yes, you get to this particular video. You get to enjoy Yask. Not problematic at all, right? Black man running around Japan, slaughtering
Japanese people.
Yes,
This should
excellent.
go over well, I think, in the East and the West.
Yes, it's
It
clearly
seems like a good gambit.
yeah. Lots of people very very excited about the idea.
I thought there was a rumor that they kind of delayed this thing because they wanted to move him to the background.
Yes. So that's we've seen a lot of those previews. It was reported earlier today. Actually, this was an exclusive. So yeah, I can actually share this one too. This was from That Park Place, reporting that Assassin's Creed Shadows delay was not as they claimed, that to fix up the engine and fix all the problems and everything, so they didn't have a Star Wars Outlaws situation with a really buggy game coming out. I'm convinced that's still going to be the case. It's still going to be a buggy game. I don't think they have talent at their studio anymore to actually make a solid game anymore on a technical level. But the report from That Park Place is that the delay was specifically to cut back on the role of Yasuke in the game. So he is still in the game, but they have cut a bunch of narrative stuff out of the game. Let's see, it says here, confirmed, That Park Place confirmed that Ubisoft delayed Assassin's Creed Shadows in order to make narrative cuts to severely limit the role of Yasuke in the story. Yes, they made headlines by delaying the game for a whole month. It was originally supposed to come out this next week, or not? Yeah, on Valentine's Day.
I
is
feel like the takeaway is buy Ubisoft stock now.
what-
This
That
is
would
gonna go over
thi-
like fucking
We are not making recommendations for the purchase of stock. We are not financial advisors.
This is not
Please,
medical advice.
please know
No.
that the purchasing of any stock comes with risk. No, that would probably not be a good idea since,
It's gonna go great.
they are going to uh, go up in smoke. So yeah, they made headlines when they delayed the game yet again after having it delayed from November out into February. Now it's going to be delayed into March. It was March 20th is the new release.
Don't be a
But
hater.
yeah, they oh yeah,
It's gonna be great.
they supposedly have been fixing glitches and bugs, but then in some of the early previews that have been shown, there's still plenty of glitches and bugs in the game.
How are we on
And
stolen assets?
yes, I think the stolen flags from the Japanese uh, Historical Recreation Society are still in there. But the supposedly, yes, they've cut a lot of Yasuke out of it to focus more on Naue,
Oh, that's
the
weird.
the female the female ninja, which is historically just as inaccurate as a black gay
Oh, I mean,
samurai.
okay.
So yeah. But anyway, I would
Always
rather
worth a
have
true profit.
I would rather have the female Japanese ninja than a black gay samurai. It just
Where do you even start with this story? I
I
mean, I just, I mean, it is the biggest misfire I have seen in recent years,
well,
and we're talking about like Captain America misfires. I mean,
yeah.
this is just baffling
So
how bad this is.
initially, obviously they based this historically. There is this man, the dark skin would be a black man who showed up
Uh-huh.
in Nobunaga's court
Sure.
and was brought into his court, and there's all of like 5 sentences written about him.
Yeah, and to be fair, as far as common knowledge goes, this was an actual historical person that
Yes.
existed, who was a retainer, who was a friend of the court,
Yes.
a consort, who was, basically a court jester for the,
More or less.
yeah,
There's absolutely nothing to show that he was given a suit of armor, that he was given position as a samurai. The
no,
truth is that historically, Nobunaga was known to keep, I'll try and use a nice word, curiosities around his court that he found amusing. He was essentially a court jester. He was somebody
yeah,
who was there as entertainment, as a curiosity to say, "Hey, look what I got. I got this big black man who's part of my court." That was really about it. There's nothing to show that he was anything more than that. There was a whole book written by a guy all about this and that expanded on everything and told all this stuff. And it turns out it was completely made up. He wrote this book and then took on a different identity online to go and start hyping up his book. And he also used that alternate identity to go in and edit articles on Wikipedia to start citing his book as evidence of
wow,
this person's
wow.
existence.
Seems legit to me.
Yeah.
I mean,
And he's been dismissed from his position where he was at with a university in Japan. He's been uh, completely discounted by tons of other historians in the area, and so yeah, this whole thing. Okay. So there was, yes, a black man. He was
yes,
named
he was
Yasuke,
there. He was
and he
there.
was there. That's all we
Yeah,
know. And then
that's
they're
all.
introducing all this other stuff that he was that yeah, that he became part of the court and was one of his guards and he became a samurai and also yeah, he may be a historical character, but we're just going to decide that he's gay. We're just going to go ahead and decide that and put that in as part
That's
of the story.
important.
Yeah, so it
We
was
should
just
have
all
that.
made up, all nonsense. And yeah, they didn't think they thought this is the best thing since sliced bread.
I I
Yeah.
I briefly lived in Japan, and I think we can all agree that if there's one thing that the Japanese are fond of, it's bringing in foreigners and exalting them.
Yeah. Oh, they just love foreigners.
They're famous for
It's
it.
their favorite.
Yeah, this is like the most quintessential misfire from beginning to end. You can talk about all the stolen assets and the broken imagery that they've been using in this game. Ubisoft cannot destroy themselves fast enough. It failure after failure. What was the last thing? Star Wars Outhouse? Was that Ubisoft?
Yes, yeah, that was one
Oh
of their
my
more
God.
recent titles, and it was also not only was it a failure just as far as the quality of the game was concerned, it was a real mess, buggy, just from all sorts of different angles,
Open
and
world on rails.
open world, but only so far, which is not open world. And then it had load screens in between sections of stuff, which is not open world. But then on top of that, they had an ugly looking main character. And
Horrendous.
they kept trying to claim, oh, well, it's the rendering engine,
No,
limitations of
whatever.
technology. And it's like BS. We have characters from PlayStation 2 that look more attractive than this
Look
thing.
at any other game. Look at Marvel Rivals. Look at
Exactly.
yeah. I mean, no, that's not an excuse.
It was total nonsense, and the game landed with a huge thud, and it was just dismissed practically overnight. The other rumor now on top of everything that's happened is that yes, it does look like Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to be a disaster once again. As much as they've tried to change things, it is not going to be a big seller.
They can't save this.
They cannot save this, and so it now appears. The rumor is that they will be shutting down the Ubisoft studio in Quebec after Assassin's Creed Shadows is released. So,
I
uh,
do feel for the
of course,
ground level workers as always. Shit rolls downhill, but this is such a colossal misfire. It's hard to quantify.
yeah. I mean, well, and again, it's not their first big failure either. They've had
Oh no.
numerous failures, one after another, that have caused just repeated issues. But yeah, the studio in Quebec is the one responsible for Assassin's Creed Shadows. Their last game before that was Immortals: Phoenix Rising, which initially came out for the PlayStation 5, then for some other platforms. It was not critically panned, but it was also not a just a big selling title. Some people enjoyed it, others, not so much. And their previous title before that was Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which again was not one that was just hugely loved by the gaming community, but it also wasn't universally hated either. But yeah, Assassin's Creed Shadows appears to just be it's just the final nail in the coffin. And this studio it's a huge misstep for this particular production studio. And yeah, I feel bad for all of the workers at that particular studio.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, they're trying to find some place for them, but I would imagine that there's a lot of them that yeah, that this may be the end of their career in gaming. Uh, Maybe that's a good thing for some of them, but yes,
It's it
losing someone's job is never the ideal outcome.
it's not the street level coders and people trying to contribute and do their thing that are at fault here at all, ever. And just like with Hollywood studios producing, garbage like what we're getting from Disney and Paramount, Um, it's definitely not their fault. They're doing their part, and it's a shame. It's terrible. These people should not have to lose their
Yeah.
jobs because of mismanagement. But
Yes. Well, unfortunately, I would say, unfortunately, that yes, some of them are responsible for this because there's been a severe level of activism coming from the people who are making the games, coming from the developers that have caused a lot of this.
you think
Uh,
it's from the ground level up that this
I
is
I I think it's at every level.
really?
There's been, major issues with culture and, major issues with a lot of activism inside. They've lost their focus on trying to make a good game, and part of that focus was lost on the hiring of some of these people that were brought in, during, pandemic times when it was a boom time. They were hiring lots of new people, and of course, we saw policies, DEI policies that were being implemented by a lot of these businesses, and so they were not hiring necessarily the best people. They were hiring the people that fit their mold, the ones
Checking
that were
boxes.
checking the boxes exactly.
Well,
And so
I don't
I'm
know any
certain
different, so,
I'm certain there's good people, talented programmers who are losing their jobs. I would say for those people, I think they'll find new work. If they've got the experience
I
and they've
hope
got the
so.
talent, they're gonna be able to find something. I think for the activists that have been in these companies, that have been in Ubisoft specifically, that have caused a lot of these issues,
I mean,
I hope they do find work. I hope it's not in the gaming industry.
there's no argument that there is an unhealthy culture going on
Yeah.
in media creation. Um, I don't know for sure whether it comes from the ground level up or if it's top down, but, yeah, I can respect that.
Yeah. No, it's never good for anyone to lose their job.
No, of course not.
That's not ideal way for things to go. But when a studio has lost its way as much as it has, it's going to happen. And a lot of people, that part of the reason that these studios like this have collapsed, of the games that they're making, the quality of them has gone so far downhill, is that the really talented people, the really skilled people, have gone elsewhere. They've decided that the activism and stuff is more than they can take, and they've gone off to build their own studios. And so hopefully some of the really talented people, the really skilled people who are at the lower levels, there's going to be some other jobs out there for them, and maybe some of these companies that have been started up in the wake of
Yeah,
all the activism and stuff.
I would just like to be clear, I don't wish, hard times on anyone, and,
No, no, not at all, not at all.
the world is a bright struggle for even the most talented people right now. So,
Can be.
yeah, if you're willing to, do your gig, do your job, and put the work in, then no shade there at all. If the people on your level or the people above you are, creating an environment where maybe it's not the best environment for your thriving, then that's a problem. But yeah, I don't wish anyone to suffer because of upper managerial decisions or agendas. So
Mhm.
there's that.
Yep, and, Istovobos, I'm not sure, I'd have to confirm this somewhere else, but, Istovobos in the chat was saying that, 80% of the work, had to be hired in. They had to bring in people from outside of the studio to do a lot of that low level work of actually doing the coding and stuff, because, they people that were actually working at Ubisoft were so untalented that they
I
couldn't
I
actually
I think
accomplish
that's
the work
sadly, I
themselves.
think that's pretty normal. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that would be normal for a big budget Hollywood movie or a AAA game.
Yeah.
I
Well,
I
and we know that to at least some level that is the case, because we had what was it, an email that leaked a while ago, Price? Do you remember that? There was an email or an internal memo or something that leaked that basically was saying that they had, there was maybe 10% that were really the top skilled people, and there was like another 10% that perhaps were really the bottom, just not really capable. And then there was like another 80% that were
Carrying the
just
other 80%.
well, there was an 80% in the middle that were just they were more focused on activism and more focused on other stuff than anything, and they didn't actually have the talent and the skills to actually develop a good game. They had to be basically watched over all the time. They had to be given direct instructions to be able to accomplish anything. They couldn't be trusted to work on projects themselves because they just did not have the skills, the knowledge, the talent necessary
Uh,
to do it.
no
And
no
then
surprise there for me.
and then
No.
that top 10% of the really capable people, they wanted to actually accomplish work and get things done and try to build something worthwhile. And so
Sure.
they were in no way interested in taking leadership positions because that would take away from their time of actually producing something that they were happy to put their name on. And so the really capable people would not take leadership. So the only people who were left were those middling people that met 80% that were willing to be promoted to take leadership. And so then you got leadership that was totally incompetent and had no idea what it was doing.
Yeah, as a low level on the ground worker in the Bay Area, I will testify to that 100%.
Yeah.
Those of us that carried the other 80%, just wanted to get through our day and do the work right and turn in and walk away. Um, yeah, this all just seems like the American nightmare to me. Doesn't doesn't seem like anything shocking at all.
No, no. And it's sad to see a studio that has had, so much success in the past, suddenly
Nothing
just
lasts
collapsing
forever, but
so
yeah.
quickly. Yeah, and as I said, a lot of those more capable developers have long since left, and so they're off. It's not the same studio it was. It was kind of the same story that we've seen with a bunch of these studios recently when we've talked about things like Dragon Age and
Mhm.
everything that's happened with the studio at BioWare. It's not the same BioWare that made the first three Mass Effect games,
I
right?
think there's a very natural, tendency towards sort of naturalism where, the company that made the game that you love is always going to be that company, but
Exactly.
that's not the case. The
No.
same way that it's not the case with a music band or a film IP that you might love. It's not going to necessarily just be that thing that you imagined and appreciated in, you know, outside of time and space. Everything evolves, everything changes. Um, in the corporate world, it's sadly, things tend to rise and fall very quickly.
Yep. Yep. So yeah, it looks like probably this will not be the last part of Ubisoft that will shut down. There's probably going to be some other studios as well if we don't just see a wholesale purchase or merger of Ubisoft with some other company. So um,
I imagine a takeover.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, very likely. It's Tencent, the Chinese company, already owns a large percentage of the company. So very, very possible that they come in and just buy them up. So
Well, as always, I don't take any delight in the failings of anything or anyone personally. I hope that it evolves into something better. Something better comes out of it all. We live in a weird time. It's really strange. As I mean, I'm 54 years old, and I'm living in a time where, like, I have just seen every franchise, every IP, every company identity, every everything, Star Wars, Star Trek, everything just fail in front of me. And, you know, I have nothing to gain from the the demise or the falling of these IPs and these companies and these ideas and these these mythologies which, raised me. Um, it is strange. It is a strange thing to watch everything just lose its value and lose its clout and collapse. It's a weird time.
Speaking of red letter media, right? How does it feel to have lived long enough to watch all the franchises you love collapse
Yeah,
into
that's
ruin? It's like,
exactly what I'm saying.
yeah, thanks. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it
happy to be here.
it feels like shit. It
That's
doesn't
exactly it.
feel good.
It
I'm not
feels
happy about this. Like,
really awful.
I'm
Yeah.
not a hate tuber, okay? I am not
No.
gaining any absolutely any monetary or collateral, clout gain from seeing the shit that I loved growing up collapse and fail. Like, I'm not happy about this.
No.
I'm just here and reporting on it. Like,
Yeah. Just telling it like it is.
yeah, I'm just observing at this
It's
point,
just
and
that's about all
it's
we can do.
baffling. It's really strange.
All right.
Um, has Price died? Are we
No, no, I'm here.
No,
I'm just
he he's
I was
he's
listening to you guys.
he
were
was
you
he
Zona
was
now?
resting his eyes, is my mother
Alright,
used to
No,
say.
no,
Yeah.
I wasn't. I was dealing with something here. But
alright.
But
yeah,
yep.
no, you
I
said some
think that's
interesting
about it
stuff.
tonight. Is there anything
Yeah,
else you wanted to talk about, Bryce?
I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say. No, I think that was the last thing, just to kind of the Ubisoft, and I think you went over it really well and you added a lot of insight. Sometimes when you know, talk about that, I kind of just give you seem to know a lot more than me. I just knew that they keep scrambling to kind of minimize, Yasuke's role all the time, but I don't know. I think the whole
They are
game
scrambling.
that game is gonna be a disaster. There no the I don't see how they're gonna get out of this, and they keep firing people, and they're in trouble, and, it's funny is because just like a year ago, so many people were so confident over there, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like that,
Yeah.
you know, people were saying, "Oh, you can't." Basically, people were saying that gamers couldn't really move the needle if they don't buy the games, that, eh, a lot of people felt very confident over a year ago, and I feel like now they're less confident.
It's an epic mess. It really is.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's,
boy.
sometimes you shouldn't piss off the consumers,
Yep.
and I
Well,
feel like they did that.
I'm convinced this is gonna be a fascinating year for media
Agreed.
as we start to see sort of this change, very rapid change, where people are just they're sick of this trash that they've been fed for years now. Whether
Yeah,
it's
people have been sick of this for a while, and
yeah,
it's really come to a head.
whether it's just the low quality or it's the all of the ideology and activism and stuff that's been inserted into this stuff, people are just tired of it. They just want to sit down, like, I mean, like you said, Adam, you just want to sit down and, like, maybe watch a movie that you can escape into for a couple hours,
Yeah, it's
and when it's
fucking
done,
exhausting. I just wanna be entertained. I just want my escapism.
yeah,
That's
just
really, at the end of the day, all I want. I don't gain anything from hating this shit. I certainly am not gaining views or money or anything on my YouTube channel. I
you
just, as a human being, as a consumer, I just wanna be entertained. I wanna walk away from my problems at the end of the day and be able to watch a half hour, an hour, a 2-hour show and just not think about this crap, but you can't. You can't consume any of the product that is being offered anymore without having to deal with all these other issues that are
yeah,
entangled.
and we're gonna see the tail end, the stuff that's still going to have a lot of this ideologies, a lot of the politics and stuff crammed into it as it's been developed over the past few years. We're still going to see a lot of that coming out this year, and it's going to be really fascinating to see how it's received. And honestly, I think a lot of it is just going to fail epically. People are just going to say no, just not. I'm
It
not
will be
interested.
it will be interesting one way or the other.
Yeah.
Uh, Barbara and I had a conversation, right before this show, which was what's next? Like literally, what is next? What is possibly going to take the place of what we have been suffering through for years and years and years as media consumers? And we're old enough to remember the independent cinema revival in the 90s with El Mariachi. We're old enough to remember the 1970s with Easy Rider. It's hard to imagine what is going to come next and replace this in the framework that the media world has laid out. It is very difficult to imagine what is going to take the place of the slop that we are all uh, concurrently rejecting,
Yeah.
this new
Yeah.
Star Trek, all the new Star Wars, all this stuff. It's hard to imagine, and I'll stick around for it.
Yep.
I'll stick around for it. I want to know. Um,
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see. I do think that a resurgence in independent film is absolutely something that could fill that void. I
I
don't
hope
see
so.
Hollywood changing its ways very quickly. I don't see a lot of the people that have really doubled down on a lot of these different values over the past few years really changing their tune, at least not quickly. And so, independent cinema, being able to move quickly, create new things, explore new ideas without all of the restrictions of a Hollywood system with producer after executive producer, and all of that stuff that gets piled on along with the studio
Yeah,
executives that
the
have all
committee
their
reality.
yeah,
Yeah,
all that stuff that has to, oh no, they've got to approve it and they've got to approve it. If somebody who's going to be out there producing independent films and is ready to take some chances and try new things and have reasonable budgets, I could definitely see that being something that's
if I
really
had to
gonna
wager, if I had to
gonna happen.
place a bet, and I don't, um, if I had to place a bet, I'm gonna put it on indie gaming. That's where I'm
Yeah,
gonna put my token. That's where I'm
yeah,
gonna put my chip. I think that there are the, resources. I think that there are uh, 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 there's an availability to 1 or 2, really, inspired people to create, a couple of games that will knock us off of our fucking socks. I think that, indie gaming will happen maybe in the way that independent cinema did in the 90s. We saw, Robert Rodriguez and Tarantino, of course, all these people rise up. Maybe it's time for that to happen. I don't know, but if I had to place a chip, I'd say maybe, indie gaming because, um, gaming has certainly taken over a huge percentage of audience that, passive, uh, entertainment had in the past, and, I think the interactive, medium may be the way to go. That might be where I would put my chip. I don't
okay.
know. I don't know. Just an old man with simple needs. I don't
Yeah. Yeah, I think that and the growing demand for more independent, more low budget films that can be produced quickly and can be produced without all the bloat
I think
of the
maybe
Hollywood
AI.
system.
Maybe
Yeah.
AI
Oh,
will help with some of that when it gets better.
could be
If
too.
it is used judiciously,
Yeah.
I think it can be a boon to independent creators. Obviously, there is a ton of baggage that comes with AI.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's too soon. You know, there. I was looking at this software and these plugins that exist today, and you kind of give them prompts of what you want to do. You give them a character and you give them prompts, but it still can't exactly. It takes so much trial and error until you can maybe get a shot. But if it gets better over time, and this thing is moving pretty quickly, then I think something will happen.
I
Yep.
as a nuts and bolts pen and paper analog boy who grew up making a living my entire life off of just pencil and paper. Um, I have a really hard time digesting AI, but I absolutely do believe that used correctly and used smartly as a feature of good storytelling, good intentions, um, a creative drive, AI can be a very positive thing. It's hard for me to say that out loud. It really is, because my hard work for the last 30 years has been used to train AI, and people get it for free. That literally is what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that I have ever put online as part of a portfolio to try and get a job in a nuts and bolts fucking world is now a part of AI training. But I really do believe that the right people, the right person can navigate this world and create something really fantastic using AI as a tool, not as a crutch, and help build something better than what they could do on their own possible resources, what they could do with their own hands, what they could do with their own financial resources. Um, I think that this could happen. Am I convinced that it will? No, but I'd like to think that's what's going to come.
I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I do think it's going to be a fascinating year, though. There's going to be a lot of really interesting stuff, and not just politics. That is going to be fascinating. But I think in media, there's going to be a lot of really interesting things happening this year. So
Yeah, for sure.
we'll have plenty of time to talk about it on the Night Owl. But I think for tonight, I think we're pretty much wrapped up
Yeah,
here.
yeah, no,
Bryce, you ready
we
to
did
go?
our thing. We did our thing, and I want to thank you both, and thank you, Adam Gray, for joining us, and Professor
Oh,
R2
my
as
pleasure.
usual. Oh, okay. We have to do shout outs.
We do, yeah. Let's see what we can do here. I'll get started over here on Rumble. Kivo 1961 member, thanks for joining us again tonight. Always happy to see you here. Eraserhead, JNB, Phantom Monk, Dude Bro, Seth 420. Let's see. Spin Pole, Fractured 01. Welcome. I think it's the first time I've seen you on the channel. We're glad to have you here tonight.
Istophobos, Argentum.
Yes. Let's see.
Of course, Marla is here.
Yes. I'll share. Let's see. The Blind Eye. Phantom Monk. Let's see. Is there anybody else? Oh, Pyromancer showed up for a bit. Hey there, Pyromancer. Good to see you. I Suck Toes 123.
Nice
Okay.
tag.
Hey, if you do your thing. Liberty Talk. And let's see, I don't think I saw some late guy, LI 1990, again with a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Based and Blessed, Twikilgo, Lum Teresa, and looks like that's just about everybody over on Rumble. So we got quite a few over there on YouTube, and we lost our big list of chat earlier. So, but yeah, we saw Argentum and Empress NM, Joshua Calkins.
Eraserhead was here.
Yes,
It's
Eraserhead.
Phobos. Yeah, thank you everyone. Empress and M. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight. We
Yeah,
really appreciate it.
Mary White, Jonathan Conroy, Void King, Joshua Calkins, Istaphobos again over there on YouTube. Let's see if I've got Jamalama, Breeze Feats,
The Dead Man is here.
the Dead Man,
I haven't
DJ
seen the Dead Man in a while.
DJ Play
Oh wait,
Nice.
the Dead Man is back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's here.
DJ Play Nice, Rob Nod Scoobla here this evening.
And Marla
Oh,
Sharendorf
yeah.
is here.
Eclectic Goat was here earlier.
Yes,
Phantom
Eclectic Goat was here. Barbara Lawrence was here for a little bit
Thank you,
earlier.
everyone.
Yeah. James Caserta, thanks for being here. Yeah, just looking to see if I catch any other unique names here. If we miss anybody, sorry. Hopefully we'll catch you next time. But thanks for being here, and we really appreciate you hanging out with us. I would once again like to thank a few people here. The Dead Man, of course, thank you for your super chat. Big Ship, holy cow, thank you. 70 gifted Price of Reason Live
Big Ship
memberships
is,
this evening. That is
he's
really
goated.
amazing.
that is just wild. The Big Ship, thank you so much for that support. It
Thank you,
really is
Big Ship.
appreciated.
He's been huge. He's given a lot to our channel over on B-roll.
Mhm.
Big ups to Big Ship.
Yeah, Blade Nicotera with a $20 super chat again. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Jamalama with a membership and 5 Price of Reason Live memberships gifted.
Captain Palsy.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much for all that support
Barry
this
White.
evening.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
everyone.
Always blown away by the level of support we get from the
We
from the chat
appreciate it
here.
very, very much.
Yeah, amazing.
We do.
Anybody
So-
else we need to call out, Price? Did you see anybody else?
No, I think that was good. And again, if we miss somebody, I'm sorry, but we'll get you next time. And as Professor said, we're always very grateful, for these late night conversations. It was also nice that we had Adam Gray as a guest.
Thank you so
And-
much for having me.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a pleasure hanging out with everybody and going over all these topics.
Yeah, and if
And-
you haven't taken the time yet, if you'll just take a moment to give us a thumbs up and
Thumbs up
even
or
leave a comment on the stream afterwards. We'd really
comment,
Yeah,
thumbs
it does
up,
help. It does help.
subscribe, follow. If you're on Rumble, you should follow. If you don't have an account on Rumble, you should open one. It's free. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Rumble is the future, folks. Get
Yeah,
in on Rumble.
See you on Thursday on the Night Owl, also at 11:45 p.m. And yeah, you all have a good night.
Take care, everyone.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Good night.